Seems to be just about every day. That'll work. .606 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Good morning, everybody. Brian here with you. Jake producing. We are off and running on what is going to be an intense storm of a morning. That's in a literal sense, not the show itself. It's going to get bad throughout Baton Rouge this morning, and we will have the latest for you throughout. Rundown on the guests: Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show, going to be by at 6:35 this morning. In the 7 o'clock hour, we're going to talk with Secretary of State Kyle Ardoin about the upcoming elections. We're going to the polls on Saturday. That's at 7:15, 7:35. We will have Crimestoppers on. I believe we're talking to I Care during our Crimestoppers segment today. In the 8 o'clock hour, which is when we should be in the thick of it as far as the storm is concerned. In the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking with Dr. Josh Eachus, WBRZ's chief meteorologist, at 8:15, about not just what we're seeing, but what we can still expect, how long will it last, and what's it going to be like afterwards, because we are going to see a serious cold front tomorrow, or tonight. The storm moving through is going to leave us with cold weather for sure. That's at 8:15, and then legendary comedian George Wallace has a new book out. He'll be on with us at 8:40. But we're not going far without getting away from. We're never going too far away from the forecast itself, which you heard Marissa Nuzzo. You heard her just a little while ago, laying out that forecast. I'm looking at a radar right now, and the squall line that's coming through is already well past Alexandria and is moving from it's moving primarily from west to east, but the way it's curved makes it look like it's coming in more from the north than anything. And we are a little bit further towards the bottom of it, but it's moving very quickly. It's going to hit us and just keep on rolling. We'll have a lot more as the morning wears on, for sure. Also, yes, we are counting you down to Saturday. Saturday is Election Day, and there are 4 constitutional amendments on our ballot here. If you listen to the show at all, you know where I'm at on Amendments 1 and 2. Actually, you know where I'm at on all 4 of them. Yes, I don't care, and yes. Actually, let me rephrase that. Hell yes, I don't care, and yes. That's where I'm at across the board. But when it comes to the other races they're around the state, it's not a whole lot to dial into. New Orleans will be looking at a new mayor. That everybody I've talked to has said that's going to be LaToya Cantrell winning re-election. Only real question is if there's enough people on the ballot to garner enough smaller percentages to keep her below 50% to force a runoff. Which it's looking more and more like there won't be. But we'll find out once Saturday gets here. Interestingly enough, it's difficult to make accurate predictions when turnout's expected to be so low. Oh, also, if you're watching the show on YouTube, bonus YouTube content today. Heads up 9 o'clock as we go off the air. Ever heard of Jake Shimabukuro? Yeah, I hadn't either. But he has got a new album out. The album is called Jake and Friends. And this is what garnered my attention. The album comes out tomorrow, actually. This is what garnered my attention. On the album, he's teamed up with Jimmy Buffett, Jack Johnson, Ziggy Marley, Warren Haynes, Bette Midler, Willie Nelson, Amy Grant, Vince Gill, Michael McDonald, Kenny Loggins, and John Anderson, among others. That definitely caught my attention because then it's like, well, wait a minute. If he's got this many like huge names, he's got to be somebody. So we're going to talk about Jake and Friends. And Jake Shimabukuro. That's at Heads Up 9 o'clock this morning. We're going to take our first break. When we come back from our first break, Ed Ogeron was on the SEC Coaches Teleconference yesterday. We will have some audio for you in our next segment before we take that break. Got to remind you as we count it down to kickoff, as we get ready for Saturday in Tiger Stadium, yes, if you're going to be out on campus tailgating, swing on by Matherns. Look, no reason to overpack to head out to campus when you can swing by Matherns, not just for something to eat, something to munch on as you make your way around campus, but grab yourself some beers to go in their craft beer selection. Their craft beer selection is phenomenal. If you're ever in need of a good recommendation, just ask. Just ask. They're more than willing to help you out. But they will be there for you all day, game day, on Nicholson, right across the street from Tiger Stadium. Nicholson at Skip Burtman Drive. You got Matherns Market. They've got a downtown location, too, and they're here all the time. They're not just here on game days. They're here for us. Well, they're here for us today, tomorrow as well. They're always there. And they're not just for students. Important to note that. Yeah, it's on campus, but it's not just for students. Matherns Market on Nicholson at Skip Burtman Drive or downtown on 3rd Street. Also, they're getting you ready for Thanksgiving as well, but we'll talk more about that on a later date. Right now, take a quick break. When we come back, we'll hear from Ed Ogeron in the SEC Coaches Teleconference next.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you gotta do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free.
Arkansas is a big challenge.
ZipRecruiter.com/Alabama
lost a lot.
ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you; it finds them for you. It's powerful technology
Not defined by last play.
great experience, and actively
Differences
to
in
apply to your
KJ
job.
Jefferson
You
in
can qualify
2019.
candidates fast.
I think a quarterback battle.
Companies might deliver
Quarterback battle.
ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for.
Enjoys playing. Enjoys playing Arkansas. We'll have to come up with.
Enjoys playing Arkansas.
The smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com.
We'll have to come up with a new scheme on defense because Arkansas will be ready.
ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
LSU's ready for a fight.
LSU's ready for a fight.
Wanting to be on the same page with Garrett's family about red shirts. Did you get that?
Yeah.
That's all.
All right. Let's use the one about Garrett's red shirt as well. So we're going to start with he enjoys playing Arkansas, and then LSU's ready for a fight, then into the quarterback battle, and then into Garrett's red shirt. Oh. Troll what? Oh, they're behind the curtain. Why?
I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit.
Oh, I'm too bright.
Shirt, it's too
Gotcha. Thank you. I'll get it.
About there. Walk in the frame. Much better.
Okay.
Much better. You run the long one.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference.
Oh, good. All right. So basically, I don't have an iPhone case anymore. This thing just will not stay on.
I've been holding on to my iPhone case for ages, pretty much since I got this phone.
Hey, it's Dave Ramsey. You can listen to me
Like a
weekdays live from 1 to 4 p.m. on Talk 107.3, the new flavor of talk in Baton Rouge.
Talk 107.3 is giving you a chance to enjoy a true Louisiana staycation on us at either the Renaissance or Watermark Hotels. Simply take our staycation survey at talk1073.com and you will be instantly registered for one of 2 staycations each month at the Watermark or the Renaissance. We draw 2 winners a month, one on this show, one on the Jay Cody show. October's winners have been drawn. Danielle Parrish won the one-night stay with valet and dinner for 2 at the Gregory. That's at the Watermark, downtown. For the Renaissance, it was Dane Delat, won a one-night stay with breakfast for 2 and then dinner for 2 at Tallulah. It's a staycation with the Watermark and Renaissance Hotels and Talk 107.3, the new flavor of talk. All right, Ed Ogeron met with, he was on the SEC Coaches Teleconference yesterday morning. Arkansas is next up for the Tigers. Ogeron says this is a game that he likes.
Coach Pittman's done a great job. Like I said, I enjoy playing Arkansas. I coached at Arkansas, man. I love the place up there. I have a lot of respect for the university. They were very good to me. I just enjoy playing the Hogs. It's going to be a battle.
It is going to be a battle, and if you had asked anybody before the Alabama game, it didn't look like the rest of the season was going to stack up to much. But the Tigers surprised a lot of people last Saturday, especially when compared to what a few other teams in the SEC have looked like. As you get to this point in the season, and some guys just quit, LSU has not. Ogeron says they're ready to keep fighting. They're going to fight against Arkansas on Saturday.
Well, I know this, Nate. Our team's ready to fight. And we said that we're going to fight to the end here. I'm going to fight to the end. And it was evident last week. And if we can build on the momentum that we built last week, especially on defense, we played the best defense we played all year. And I'm telling you what, I know Arkansas is going to fight. I know their coach. So this is going to be a battle. I know these guys, they started off on fire. They lost a couple of games. They played some good teams. This is a very good football team.
It is. But if you're Arkansas, though, and this is more from a fan's perspective than a player's perspective, Arkansas is going bowling this year. They're making a bowl game, and that is a big, big step for their program. They had a nasty run, a really horrible run for a couple of years. Making a bowl game is kind of a big deal right now. So they're happy. They're content. Maybe not as hungry as LSU might be, with a different set of motivation. Ed Ogeron talked about the defense in that last cut a little bit. What about on the offensive side of the football? It was introduced on Monday that there's going to be a brand-new quarterback battle. And both Max Johnson and Garrett Nussmeier have been getting reps at practice. What's that going to look like as the week plays out?
They're competing. It's definitely a competition. We had Monday practice. We had a nice 2 minutes. Both of them did well. Yesterday we had a padded practice. Both of them did well. It's going to come down. We're going to put them in the game, see who plays the best in the game. And there's an open competition, and you can tell there's a competition. And they're both professional about it, but you can tell the intensity has been raised up a little bit.
Now, as far as Garrett Nussmeier is concerned, he's kind of on the clock. If he plays too much, he loses the opportunity to get a red shirt. In fact, one more game is all he's got to go. Now, that's something that you and I might think about, but if you're the kid, if you're in it, you're just like, give me the ball, coach. But Ogeron has said that he has addressed this with Garrett and his parents.
It was whether we were going to play him or not in Burner's redshirt year. They have to make make the decision. I was protecting Garrett. I wasn't going to put him in and just burn his red shirt. I wanted to make sure that the family and I was on the same page. There's nobody dictating me to doing nothing. I run this program.
Kickoff 6:30 p.m. on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. That is Saturday. We are due up for the Fox Business Report. Quick break. Coming back. We got traffic. We'll continue to monitor the storm as it makes its way towards Baton Rouge. All coming your way next. He actually, it was a nice little pause he gave us, huh?
Yeah, just laid that on a platter.
All right, where's my coffee? Oh, diving into the Big Squeezy this morning. Got me a morning glory from Big Squeezy. Big Squeezy is a cold pressed juice place. And every so often, I'll go by and get a 3-day juice cleanse, just to kind of hit reset on everything. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm actually, this is before that. The full cleanse will come next week. This is just because I don't like cold coffee, and I love this one. So.
I can't decide yet. I've never been much of a coffee drinker until about maybe a few years ago. I don't know, man. If it's cold coffee, I like it to be, elaborate, let's say. But hot coffee, you just give me like a little bit of reassurance.
Yeah. Delicious. Complete Collision was next. All right, I'm going to have to hit reset on all of my live read talking points because I've got so many out-of-date things that just... Oh, remember last week in Cup of Tech Gumbo where Haggai told me to get my 15.1 update? The iOS 15.1 update. It's yeah. So that should tell you what time he left this morning. Problem is, if you're coming in from Mandeville, if you leave at 5 o'clock, you can get here at 6. Yeah. If you leave at 5:30, you can get here at like 8.
They probably left at 5.
Probably. You got cuts 4, 5, and 6 here? Okay. Yes. 624 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. So today is Veterans Day, when we honor and salute those who have served our country. Veterans Day, Governor John Bel Edwards and First Lady Donna Edwards going to dedicate the new Never Forget Garden at Veterans Memorial Park, which is adjacent to the state capitol. That ceremony will be happening today. They don't have a little weather permitting disclaimer on the press release. Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs Secretary Joey Strickland says,
we're excited. We've planted this beautiful garden in front of the Old Arsenal Museum. We're going to dedicate it. We're expecting a large crowd to turn out.
The Memorial Park is part of a statewide volunteer project by members of the state's chapter of the American Rose Society, Daughters of the American Revolution, and the Garden Club Federation. They do have a time on here, 11 a.m., the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Makes sense. Strickland says even if you aren't able to attend a veteran ceremony today, he asks that you simply express your gratitude for those who defend our country.
And if nothing else, if people would just pause from their daily routine and think about our veterans and their sacrifices.
Or if you're willing to do more, like the folks over at Lit Pizza, veterans eat free today, if I'm not mistaken. I need to, you know what? Let me double check that before I put it out there. Strickland says today's garden dedication also coincides with the 100th anniversary of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
There'll be a plaque there. They will never forget the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Arlington and the sacrifices that were made by our veterans, both of World War I and World War II.
Okay, yes, according to our news partners over at WBRZ, Lit Pizza and Gordon McKernan teamed up to give free pizzas to veterans today. The story reads, in honor of Veterans Day, Gordon McKernan injury attorneys and Lit Pizza have partnered to give free pizzas to the first 25 veterans at every Lit Pizza location in Louisiana. Okay, so it's not all day long for every day. It's the first 25 at each location. So veterans, if you're going to one Lit Pizza and they're you're number 26, there's another location. Anyway, the 3 Baton Rouge locations, if you're curious, 3930 Burbank. Oh, that's right next door to Walk-Ons. In between Walk-Ons Restaurant and Walk-Ons Corporate Office, that little strip shopping center right there. What else is in there? Modesto's in there. There's a CC's Coffee House. You know where it's at. So that's on Burbank, Corporate Boulevard, right across the street from Town Center, and 9770 Bluebonnet Suite 1. From a city parish standpoint, offices will be closed today. EBR city parish offices will be closed today in honor of Veterans Day. However, residential garbage and recycling will be collected as usual. And the landfill will be open for regular business hours, which started, about an hour ago? 5:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. So, city parish offices closed, garbage pickup still happening throughout the day for Veterans Day. Hey, I'm going to check on this forecast in just a second, but I do need to remind you about the folks over at Complete Collision Center. They've got 2 locations. One is 19511 Plank Road in Zachary. The other is 9848 Perkins Road in East Baton Rouge. The Perkins Road location, it's just east of Bluebonnet, and it's actually kind of off Perkins. It's behind Perkins Road, basically. It's a smaller footprint in a more highly populated area, but there's no limit to what they're capable of doing at that shop. It's been a Complete Collision for a couple of years. There was a different body shop before that. Complete Collision handles things a little bit differently. I mean, number one, they don't have a deal hammered out with an insurance company. In fact, they're always spoiling for a fight with an insurance company. And if you've ever been in an accident, you know full well there's going to be a fight with your insurance company. But number two, they pride themselves on certifications. They pride themselves on continuing education and knowing everything from how to find hidden damages to how to repair crumple zones and redundancies that the manufacturer builds into your car to get you back on the road safely. And safely is the key word here. It's not just about what's out on the outside. It's not just about the aesthetic of your vehicle. It's about making sure all those little bitty pieces and parts that you don't see on a daily basis are back to factory standard, and that gets you back out on the road and gets your family back out on the road safely. Check them out online at CompleteCollision.com, CompleteCollision.com. If you need a phone number to call, 768-9898, 768-9898. Don't let who you choose to repair your vehicle be your second accident. Check out CompleteCollision.com. So this weather system, it as it makes its way towards Baton Rouge, and it is making its way towards Baton Rouge, we're not going to get as bad of it as, like, let's say Alexandria already has. But we are still going to get rain for a number of hours. I'm looking at a possible arrival time. It doesn't look like it'll be this hour or next, but after that, we do start to have a percentage of a chance of rain entering the forecast, and it's looking like the peak chances of rain are going to be around noon. Dr. Josh Eachus is going to join us at 8:15 to get a better look at this and all the latest. In the meanwhile, let's break for news here. You got CBS, then our own local news, traffic, and weather coming your way next on Talk 107.3. Guys, this is so good. I don't even like cold coffee. I love me some Big Squeezy. Yeah. I wanted to do a little, just hit the reset button. I've been crushing it with the, well, no, but with the Go Slim.
Yeah.
But I've been crushing. I just want to move my, I don't know, shake it up a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Mix it up every now and again.
Yeah.
So how many times do you actually finish your whole gallon of water?
So never, because I'm not here the whole day. I get usually 3/4 of the way through the gallon before I leave here at about, depending on the day, either 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock.
So good.
So that means I've done 3/4 of a gallon before 3 p.m., and that means I've got 1/4 of a gallon to go wherever I get where I'm going. So, and I honestly don't measure it after that. If I'm drinking 3/4 of a gallon of water a day, if I stop drinking water when I left here, I'm still, you're only supposed to have between 1/2 and 3/4 anyway.
Yeah.
Going over doesn't hurt you.
Well, it's supposed to be what? Half your body weight in ounces?
Really? How many ounces are in a gallon?
I don't know. That's a good question. $128.
So I'd be pretty close.
Yeah.
I'm right at 200 pounds.
So, your 3/4 actually
That's about
probably
right.
right on the spot.
Oh, morning Renee, morning Christian, morning Eric, and morning Clint. How much sugar does it have? You know, I don't know how much it has because look, the ingredients are listed on the back, and with the cold pressed juices, you don't have anything that's not natural, so it's naturally occurring sugars. More.
Well, is it a juice or is it a coffee?
This is a coffee.
Okay.
Coffee, water, almonds, honey, vanilla, pink salt.
Pink salt? Why pink salt?
I don't know.
It's like that Himalayan salt?
I guess so.
The pink looking salt?
I mean, this is what I see.
Oh, they don't have any nutritional facts on it, just the ingredients.
No, I'm sure they have it all when you go there.
Yeah, I'm sure you can ask them. Please enjoy. I like how they say please enjoy.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Cool, cool.
They don't just say enjoy, they say please enjoy.
Where? Oh. Keep refrigerated. Shake well. See, those things they don't ask you nicely.
No.
You keep it refrigerated.
That's a command.
You shake it like a Polaroid picture.
But please enjoy.
Please enjoy.
Please drink responsibly.
Oh. The Crazy 8. Oh, you can mix that down with anything.
Crazy 8.
one of their juices.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, their juices have
It's
they've
good.
got, like
What's in it?
skinny greens and sweet greens and spicy lemonade and Crazy 8 and Rude Awakening and 24 carrots.
Spicy lemonade.
Spicy lemonade is a detox and an appetite suppressant. It's lemons and cayenne.
Yeah,
That's it.
that makes sense.
And it is. It's
Sounds
got
delicious.
some. It's got some kick to it.
Kicked it.
It's got some kick, but it works for sure.
Sounds like it's got kick, but also worth it.
See, Tiffany knows. She says, I love Big Squeezy because they're awesome. Hey, it's Casey Rayburn Hicks.
Interesting. People are getting creative with their crimes. Not.
I mean, dude poses that he or some sort of police officer. And the girl he allegedly raped recorded the whole thing on her phone.
So it's kind of hard to then say allegedly.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
You got video.
I don't know if it was video or just audio.
Well, interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. Refinery's closure causes job concerns.
Yeah.
I got about 30,000 open jobs in the city, in the state.
Yep.
Just hop on board somewhere else.
It's all about what you want to do, though.
Mm-hmm. I kind of forgot today was Veterans Day. I also forgot it was 11/11.
That is when Veterans Day is.
It's also one of those days that has the most induction appointments for women.
Byron says, I hate to be the guy that tells the truth about Santa, but cleanses and detoxes are a marketing scheme. There's no real heal benefit. I think you meant health. No, I completely disagree. When I started my dieting, I started with a 3-day cleanse, and I lost 5 pounds in the first week. It's not about what it's. Yes, you're going to get great benefit from it short term. It's about what you do next that capitalizes on it. You could either capitalize on it or literally and figuratively flush it down the crapper.
Or both.
Or both. 638 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Every Thursday, Patrick Gremion comes into the studio and we talk business, we talk culture, we talk social media. Patty G, what's happening?
Good morning, Brian. I'm here for one more week at Hope.
So yeah, let's start there. The fact that you're here tells me you do not yet have a baby.
I do not have a baby.
Okay.
Next
What
week.
are we down to? Like
Next week.
days, hours, minutes? She gonna
Hours.
call during the segment?
She might. I know she wishes.
Can we put her on the hotline instead of the cell phone?
Let's call her in.
Yes.
No, it is down to the minutes, down to the days. It's really next week's it is the true official due date week. So
All right.
I probably will not be here next week.
Fair enough.
She hopes I'm not here next week.
Have you given in to figure out what y'all are going to have yet, or are you
No.
just? Oh, God.
I
I
still
don't
have no
understand
idea.
people that don't figure it out.
There's few surprises in life, Brian. This is one of them.
The pregnancy test was the surprise. The test was a surprise. Knowing you don't want fresh paint on the walls when a baby's in there is the different story.
We're not going to repaint the room. The whole house is one color. We're going to leave it like that.
Gross.
We're not going to repaint it so it's, a blue or a pink or whatever.
Yeah.
It's all like a eggshell or something. Dove white. There it is. That's the
Dove
color.
white.
Dove white.
Wow. Okay.
So
Shout out to the contractor's palette.
yeah, that's where we're at.
All
Next
right.
week, We're set up. I know she got a code name watermelon. If I get a picture, if I get an emoji of a watermelon, it's time.
Is that necessary? Like, she could just say it's time. Watermelon. Watermelon!
That's the whole point. If we're in public and I hear a watermelon, that's it. Let's go to the hospital.
But now all that's in my head is my safe word is pineapple. Pineapple juice. What was it? The guy running around the park.
Pineapple. My safe word is pineapple.
All right. We got a lot of business to talk about today. There's been a couple of really big announcements lately. There's a software development company coming to Baton Rouge. We'll talk about that in just a second. But I got to lead with, from the Daily Report or from the Business Report, construction is one of the fastest growing job sectors in the Baton Rouge area as building and maintenance projects pick up across the capital region following the COVID-19 slowdown seen across all sectors. Construction added 500 jobs between August and September in Baton Rouge, says Andrew Fitzgerald, Senior Vice President of Business Intelligence at the Baton Rouge Area Chamber. From September 2020 to September 2021, construction jobs have increased by 1,500, which, yes, if you're coming out of the pandemic and you're getting back to reinvesting into whatever's next, you got to build it first. This only makes sense. Amazon, I'm guessing, is a big part of that. However, Louisiana lost more construction workers than 47 other states during the pandemic, according to the Association of General Contractors, meaning industry has further to come back from. Industrial contractors are still facing a worker shortage and are struggling to find qualified workers. That's not just the construction business, but yeah.
It's every field.
Says Connie Fabry, President and CEO of the Greater Baton Rouge Industry Alliance. So you had a lot of projects that were being worked on, and we're going to see a lot more of them next year, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of projects that were being worked on that were either put on pause, put on hold, or called off altogether.
All the industrial plants and everything, they're now taking their Q4 to do their planning for next year, and I'm sure a whole bunch of that is going to be putting it back into maintenance, repairs, new construction within their facilities.
Right. Now, this has been coupled with the labor shortage, for one thing. Or I shouldn't say shortage, the labor struggle, because we're not short of people. It's not like there's a labor shortage. There's a motivational struggle.
Yeah.
There is a I don't know how to put it. It's not a demand problem, and it's not a supply problem. It's somewhere in the middle. So
the demand is there. Will the supply go in at the demand's price?
Now, the construction sector especially is also seeing the cost of doing business is through the roof right now, too.
Oh my gosh, everything's through the roof. Cost of business for construction, the cost of business for food, restaurants. I mean, all that stuff is through the roof. And during the pandemic, my dad they own an industrial plumbing company. They were limited as to how many people they could bring in as an outside contractor.
Yeah.
So right there, the plants were restricting. You can only provide 2 jobs.
Yeah.
Instead of your 6 or 8 or whatever the number was.
But I'm talking about like all those other lines, not just the workers, but all the other lines in the P&L. Like have you bought lumber lately?
Thankfully, no. I have not had to do a whole lot of renovations.
That's right, because you don't know what you're having. That has nothing to do with anything, Brian. Nothing to do with anything. Anyway, yeah, it's through the roof. All of it's through the roof.
Yeah, new construction is through the roof. Now
building a roof is through the roof.
There's no more roof.
I know. But it's hit construction worse than it's hit everybody else. And remember all the attention that was paid to restaurants throughout the pandemic?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that same level of focus is going to be on the construction industry now.
Well, yeah, I think it will, because you've got people that have been saving up that want to do renovations now, but now they're realizing it's a lot more expensive than they thought it was going to be, and they didn't save up enough money, or they're getting halfway through the project and running out of cash.
So if you're in this industry, how do you recruit? What do you do to bring people on board to fix that labor struggle?
I think you do what we've seen a local company do here, offer incentives in a big way.
You talking about the billboard?
The billboard.
Okay, so this one I believe came from WAFB.
It's Rotor. I think it's Rooterman.
Rooterman Plumbing. Yes. Yeah. From WAFB's story, as the unemployment rate continues to fall, there is still a huge need for workers in our area and across the country. People are literally getting desperate to hire people with the holidays right around the corner. One business owner even put up a billboard on Airline offering a $10,000 signing bonus for plumbers. Quote, "We started at 5,000. Let's move it up to 10. That's as high as we can go," said David Murphy, the owner of Rooterman Plumbing. $10,000 bonus the moment you sign on the dotted line. $10,000 bonus. This tells me so many different things. Number one, if that's available in plumbing, what's available everywhere else?
Right.
Number two, has he now shifted the bottom, like the floor?
I think he shifted the bar for employers across the state that see this. Employees are going to say, oh, if I can go work for him for a $10,000 signing bonus, why not?
Okay. Is this dangerous?
I think it can be. Because if you get someone to sign on for 6 months and then they leave, well, you've just wasted $10,000. Because now you have to hire somebody else, spend another $10,000 and retrain them.
Right.
That's where I see the danger. Now, it doesn't go into all of his hiring details. It may say to get the $10,000, you got to work for at least a year. You know, he may have some stipulations.
Well, that's not the way the story reads it, though. And I agree with you. That needs to be written into it. But
Right.
if so, then the story did a terrible job of explaining that.
Like,
$10,000 the moment you sign on the dotted line. That makes it sound like here's a duffel bag.
which is very dangerous because you can sign the dotted line and not show up to
And
work
then
the
walk
next day
out.
and
I
then
know.
walk out. So I would think there would have to be some stipulations. You know, I just think it's, as a business owner, I wouldn't just give you a check for $10,000 for signing on the dotted line.
Have you ever had any plumbing work done in the house?
Yes.
Have you ever had it cost $10,000?
No.
Right. What's this going to do to the consumer? What's this going to do to his prices?
I think if you read further in the article, it shows he has to turn work away. At this point, he's losing $10,000 without having someone. I
mean, you know, because he's not the only one. Most contractors are in demand.
Most contractors are.
Plumbers and electricians especially. I tell you what, we got to push pause for just a second. We got to check Your Money Now and traffic. We're going to come back. We're going to pick it up talking about this. What does it do down the line? If plumbers are getting $10,000 bonuses, first of all, good on them. Get it where you can. But from a consumer standpoint, if I've got a leaky faucet, how much more is it going to cost me to fix it? And what's that going to do? I'm probably just going to say, I'll deal with it. We'll pick it up after Your Money Now on Talk 107.3. What?
Eric, watch YouTube and do it yourself.
You know, yeah, it's true. But, I mean, that involves a lot of learning. And time, and no room for trial and error.
Yeah.
And when it comes to plumbing and electrical,
it's dangerous. I changed out an outlet in my house and couldn't find the right breaker. Ended up making a little bit of sparky sparks.
Well, and that's the thing, though. If you've got a house that was built in, the 60s or before, you're looking at completely different wiring. You're looking at all kinds of different things that are just going to be not the same as they are today. You're looking at putting new parts on old parts.
Yeah, I've got most of my house. It was built in like the 50s and 40s. Most of the house is 2-wire electrical, so you don't have a ground in there. And then they also don't have any of the breakers labeled. So without shutting down my entire house, I've got to go breaker by breaker. And if I'm changing a 240-watt outlet that's used for an old window unit, actually that's what it was for. It was for a window unit. Back in the day, they would plug in the window unit, put it on the window. If I'm doing that, I don't have a plug like that works that way anymore. How am I supposed to check that? Now I got to go get a tool.
Right.
You're buying money, now you're buying tools. Now.
And now every time the AC comes on, as soon as you hear that click over, it's like, is this the time we burn down?
Yes, Dove White, Eric. Dove White. Patagonia sold paint. Yeah, electrical over 110 gets scary.
Yeah.
That stuff hurts. No,
I actually know it firsthand.
Same. Now, I've done all types of rewiring, like taking out a fan with lights and putting in 4 cans and a new fan, and then rewinding all the wires to have a new switch in the wall. But
and I just shut off the power to the whole house if I'm touching anything.
I know, I just find for that's easier because I just I turn the light and tell Charlotte, tell me when the light goes off.
So, I'm looking to put a new light in my daughter's closet and shut off power to the whole house, and the wire was still hot. Don't know how. I had the main breaker off.
You had the main breaker off.
Main
And the
breaker
power
off. Zack! Zack!
How did that happen?
I don't know. It's like some random rogue wire, just like a nerve ending.
What is it connected to?
Don't know.
Did somebody run power from your
Don't know.
neighbor's house?
Nothing. You're right. Like, how? Why? It's a closet, for bleep's sake.
Yeah. See, whenever I was doing that outlet, like, I went to go pull off one of the wires, no big deal. Pulled off the second wire, I was seeing this big, bright green flame.
What the? Hey, he's got, like, what's with the hat, dude?
I can't see the hat.
Yeah, you're. I guess he's keeping the sun out of his eyes.
Yeah. So when you see, have you ever seen a
Christian says pull the meter just to be safe. I did not do that. You know what I did? I gave up. I bought one of those lights that you
push?
Yeah.
The batteries?
Yeah, I was like, here, solved. Solved. I'll put the little plastic thingy back on it and call it a day.
The wire nut?
Plastic thingy. My wife makes fun of me. I get it. I get it all done. I get it done.
That's all that matters. You don't need to know the name.
It's not pretty.
No, I have found some very unique tools.
But I'm more comfortable with electricity than plumbing, interestingly enough.
Oh, see, I'm the opposite. But then again, I did grow up working for a plumbing company. So
There you go.
And now I'm surprisingly comfortable doing sheetrock.
Sheetrock's easy.
Floating sheetrock.
Yeah.
I just had never done it before until I redid my bathroom and moved the wall a foot back and had to re-sheetrock the whole thing, build a new wall. Except the person who owned the house before me wasn't good at electrical work, so all the wiring was wrong. So whenever we ran the wiring the correct way, none of the lights worked as they should have.
Oh, Cook. That's the second O.
I got
Okay.
I picked up what you were laying down.
Chris. 6:52. Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Alongside part-time plumber Patrick Grimion. Brian here with you. What? I mean, if you want to go collect 10 grand?
Yeah, I might. I think they have some electrical companies hiring, Brian. You want to go work for somebody?
Dude, okay. Interestingly enough, I can handle electrical a lot better than I can handle plumbing. Plumbing, I just can't. It's a mental block, I think.
Thing. You called it the plastic thing.
I did. We were talking during the break. If you're watching on YouTube, you heard it. If you're not, I was talking about replacing a light that was connected to something that I turned the main breaker off and it was still hot.
It was solar powered. That's the problem.
No, just the water heater. Yeah, I don't know. It's all upstairs. Anyway, there's a business owner, Ruderman Plumbing, offering a $10,000 signing bonus. The quote from the story says, "The moment you sign on the dotted line." I was talking with somebody the other day about this. They're just turning away business throughout the construction or contracting world.
They don't have time for it.
And what makes that so difficult is if you are on the consumer's end, it's either going to cost you a lot more or you're just going to put off a lot of things that you wanted to get done. And I think that's going to have long-term ramifications that are going to affect the whole market.
Yeah, or it's going to end up with what's happening where people can't get to you till December, or some people are saying January. You're going to have a list of projects instead of one simple leaky faucet.
Yeah.
They're going to come to the house and say, okay, great, now my toilet flapper doesn't work, my faucet's leaking, my shower head's got a drip. Now you're going to have 6 different things, and naturally your bill is going to be higher because they're going to spend a whole day there instead of spending an hour there.
Yes. Yes, if you want it done, you got to have enough work to make it worth their while.
Yeah, and I think that's where people are going to have to get to is, all right, the leaky faucet will have to live until something else
Right, but
breaks.
instead of calling the plumber to get the leaky faucet fixed when the leaky faucet leaks, you're either living with it for a while, or you've got enough projects to take out a home equity loan to get it done.
Or like they said on the YouTube Live, you can watch your YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Learn how to do it yourself and become a DIYer.
Well,
The trouble you run into is sometimes the DIYer can't do some of those technical things correctly.
so I guess the next question is what problems are going to come around when they don't do them correctly? Because look, in Baton Rouge, you look at like subdivisions like Broadmoor and Sherwood, you look at Mid-City, Garden District, you've got a lot of homes that were built before today's electrical standards were out there.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going to run you into problems when you do your own work because you're not certified in it, you don't know all the safety standards, and how many homes are going to accidentally catch fire as a result.
Yeah. Or worst case, they catch fire.
Yeah.
Or you have somebody come in and have to redo everything you've already done because you just chipped it together. You piecemealed it together to make it work. I think it is going to drive up the cost of labor, but I think a way to get around, people not wanting to work for them is to create a little more diversity within the workforce and saying plumbing and electrical work is are good jobs to have. They're good paying jobs. The article said plumbers can make up to $100,000 a year.
Dude, I was talking to a plumber on Tuesday. The per hour that he was talking about, it's like you can be a plumber or you can go to medical school. One of those two. Like,
My dad always had the joke when he would go to people's houses and they would say, "What, you came out here for 15 minutes to fix a flapper and it's $100, and the doctor says, "Well, I didn't make that kind of money whenever I was a doctor." And the plumber said, "Yeah, neither did I when I was a doctor."
exactly. Speaking of making money, there's a whole new well, I shouldn't say 150 new jobs coming to Baton Rouge.
At $75,000 a year up plus.
Yeah, a new company called Rural Sourcing, who's going to be on with me Tuesday morning at 7:15, by the way.
Ooh.
They're a software development firm. They're based in Atlanta. They plan to open a development center in downtown Baton Rouge. Now, company leaders say this. I'm grabbing this from, where is this one from? I cannot give proper attribution. David Jacobs wrote it. Company leaders say its presence will help Baton Rouge further establish itself as a tech-friendly community.
Business report.
Oh, thank you. I got the original press release right here. Anyway, Rural Sourcing says, 150 people, average salaries of $75,000, yet to be announced downtown location.
But they're all technical jobs.
Yeah.
They're all very techy jobs that you have to have some coding background.
Okay.
Which is
So-
very exciting for Baton Rouge.
When it comes to this field in particular, I'm always curious about it because we have no shortage of really qualified companies that already do this. But I'm also thinking in terms of what's in Baton Rouge, not what's everywhere else around the world that can come through Baton Rouge, because it doesn't matter where you are to do this work. So, yes, it is exciting, but are these guys breaking new ground on anything?
I don't know if it's anything entirely new. I think they're trying to bridge the gap between people outsourcing overseas
Yes.
and wanting to have the work done here. That's what I think their biggest focus is. It's not so much of we've got a new technological advancement we're trying to roll out, we've got new software we're creating. It's all the outsourcing stuff that people are doing overseas. They're saying, why not do it with someone local now?
So the Baton Rouge Area Chamber joined Governor John Bell Edwards and Rural Sourcing CEO Monty Hamilton yesterday, announcing the company's moving into Baton Rouge. Quote, on behalf of Louisiana, I welcome rural sourcing to our state and to Baton Rouge, Governor John Bell Edwards said. As we work to strengthen and diversify our economy, I'm proud that digital media and software development companies continue to find a home in Louisiana. Our highly skilled workforce, competitive resources, and welcoming business client will ensure that rural sourcing can hit the ground running on day one. So, highly skilled workforce in this field. This is one where there's been intent behind stocking the cupboard with people who can do these jobs. Are we about to see a move towards stocking the cupboard with people that can do electrical and plumbing work as well?
I think we need to. You got to have trade schools going.
Where's the splash for that? All 150 people that are going to work at this place are going to have a place to live.
Yeah.
The
And
people
who's
who
gonna
are
build 'em?
the people who are currently working in that field are already overpressed for their time. I don't know. To me, those two stories tie in together.
I think you got to, yes, they do. For the first story, for the plumbing, you got to have these people from trade schools going to high schools and talking about that as an option. Getting in front of kids before they go to college and, spend their 4 years trying to figure out what they want to do with their lives. Say, hey, come do a summer internship with
Right.
us at the trade school. Learn what you can really do with your hands, with your craft, and become a technical expert in that field.
Hey, it's Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show, which is on hiatus right now, but all the episodes are still available. Will not be in next week, as we assume.
We assume I'm not going to be here, Brian.
Good luck, brother. Here comes CBS News.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get those trade schools in front of people in high school.
Yes, it is nice to see a payoff when it comes to the software stuff.
Sure.
It's fantastic to see the payoff. But my cost of living goes up because there is not enough supply side in the workforce when it comes to construction jobs.
Yeah.
And I'm not paying somebody, who just drives up and down the streets in a random truck. Poor kid broke down crying. The kid that killed the 2 Black Lives Matters guys.
Oh, he broke down crying?
Yeah, they put him on the witness stand. Kyle Rittenhouse, or Rittenhouse, whatever his name is. The whole, we're paying way too much attention to this. As if it...
What else are we going to look at?
Yeah.
What sells? We haven't. You know how long we've been missing out on court trials and all that because of COVID?
Yes, there are 200 murder trials that have not been handled in East Baton Rouge alone.
Exactly.
I had Hiller Moore on last week to talk about that.
All right, man. Well,
Be good,
I'll
man.
See you.
Yep.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
You do the same the first week after Thanksgiving. That last week of the first week of December. I'll be out on Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna have Haggai sit in. You want to go back and forth with Haggai on Thursday?
Sure.
I think he's gonna bring his son in with him. So.
Haggai's bringing Haggai?
Yep. That is correct, sir.
That'd be fun. Yeah, the first week, the Friday is my brother's wedding, but Thursday we weren't having a chat with him.
Okay.
So.
Well, yeah, I'll. I'm going on a Catholic men's retreat. So yeah, teaming my third one. I've been on the retreat. You can only go on the retreat once because there's a lot that, once you know what's coming, it loses its value. Yeah. It's called Acts.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay, so they're yeah. This is my third time doing team, and I'm really looking forward to it. We really got a good crew together, so yeah. But
Very
that's where I'll be.
exciting stuff. Well, I'll see y'all on the flip side.
Later, bro. All right. I am going to take 2 minutes before doing top stories and trending to say goodbye to a friend.
Can you give me his name one more time?
James Gilmore.
Can you write that in the post? How do you want me to? You want me to mention him in the post?
Not really. No, don't worry about it. I already did it, yeah. I got to get my Mooyah in. I'll do it after Top Stories and Trending, but before we toss the break.
Did I give you BRPT already?
No.
And that'll be what you have after Booyah.
Okay. .706 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Hour 2 of Mornings with Brian Haldane coming your way right now. Thanks again to Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show, talking a little bit about the workforce in Baton Rouge right now. And like, if you're not watching us on YouTube, you missed a ton of that conversation. There was a lot that we talked about during the break when it comes to why our efforts are where they are and how we can diversify that a little bit moving forward. Hey, Top Stories and Trending coming your way in just a little bit. I've been putting this off, and I can't put it off any longer. I found out during the show yesterday morning, and didn't have it in me to talk about it, and this is going to be a struggle for about 2 minutes. Guarantee Media, our family up here at 929 Government Street, lost a family member yesterday. And I speak of him as a family member. We weren't blood relatives by any stretch of the imagination, but we do things a little bit differently here in this building. And every person that works here, I view as family. Yesterday, James Gilmore passed away. If you follow any of our stations on social media, I'm sure you've seen a couple of posts about it by now. James was on our sister station, 100.7 The Tiger, for years. He very prominent throughout town. Played Santa Claus every year. He was the producer of this show, actually, in between my stints here. And in fact, he's a mentor of sorts, not in a news talk perspective, but in a broadcasting perspective. And he was also a mobile DJ outside of here. So he walked that balance, that the same side hustle life that I lead, and he is very, very dear to every one of us up here, and we are all going to miss him greatly. He was diagnosed a little more than 5 years ago with cancer and was given 6 months to live. And dude was tough as nails, took everything in stride, never questioned any of it, just said, okay, what's next? How do I go about this? And 5 years after being given 6 months to live, he finally stood down in his battle. And he will be sorely missed. He will be forever loved. His daughter Madison has worked here, had worked here a while as well. She is very much near and dear to all of us and will remain so. James, we love you. We miss you. And Godspeed, sir. Time for Top Stories and Trending. Let's go. Thing is, James would be pissed about that. Like, he wouldn't want that. Just do the show, Brian. That's all he would say. According to a Wednesday news release from the office of the East Baton Rouge Mayor President Sharon Winston Broom, city parish offices will be closed today. in observance of Veterans Day. However, garbage pickup still going on as per normal. Officials also said the landfall will be open during regular business hours, so it's been open since 5:30. It will be open until 5 p.m. As we talked about with Patrick Grimion, a new software development center is bringing over 300 jobs overall to Baton Rouge. The 150 that we talked about with Patty G, those are direct jobs. There will also be 166 new indirect jobs, a total of 316 jobs, some construction jobs as well. Rural Sourcing is the name of the company. The company, according to a quote at BRZ's version of the story, says, the company offers a variety of digital engineering services, including application development, data analytics, cloud migration, application security, and more. For its new Baton Rouge Center, they will hire for positions in full-stack development or roles that work on both front and back-end website development, according to the news release. The apartment complex at 1251 North Ardenwood Drive may be branded under a new name with new management, but old problems persist. Quote, we had a bunch of calls from residents and members in that area, community members in that area, about the conditions here, says Cleve Dunn Jr., the council member for District 6, which includes that apartment complex. It was once called the Serenity Apartments, now marketed as Greenview, has been the focus of several reports involving our news partners over at WBRZ when it comes to maintenance woes and sewer problems. But in data provided by the Baton Rouge Police Department, officers have been dispatched to Greenview this year more than any other residential address in the city. That's saying something. A man accused of stabbing his ex-girlfriend's current boyfriend multiple times earlier this month is now behind bars. Deputies with the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office say 35-year-old Lucas Lambert was arrested for the November 1st stabbing incident. According to a written statement provided by deputies, Lambert went to the apartment complex where his former girlfriend and current boyfriend were staying and set off her car alarm. She goes outside to check on it. Boyfriend follows to check on her. Lucas goes all stabby, allegedly, then left the scene of the crime. Wounded man taken to the hospital for treatment. Deputies arrested Lambert on a charge of attempted second-degree murder. Stabby, technical term. A man is accused of detaining and raping a teenage girl while masquerading as a police officer in the Gardner area. East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office said 53-year-old Jason Miller was arrested Tuesday night. The department reported the assault happened at 2 in the afternoon on November 7th after Miller pulled up alongside a 17-year-old victim as she was walking in the area of Starboard Drive and Stern Avenue. The girl told investigators Miller flashed what appeared to be a badge from inside his truck, told her to put her hands against the vehicle, asked her if she was involved in buying or selling drugs, placed her in handcuffs before putting her in the back seat of the truck. She began recording the incident on her phone. He allegedly told the teen he would let her go if she performed sex acts on him. After the assault, the victim said Miller let her out of the vehicle and then drove away. The victim was later able to positively identify Miller as the man who raped her. He's charged with false imprisonment, first-degree rape, and impersonating a police officer. That is a look at your top stories. Here's a look at what's trending this morning. Potentially troubling news for the hunting community has surfaced in recent months. The RNA specific to COVID-19 has been found in blood samples in wild deer in the northern states within the U.S. Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries is now doing its own research. I did my own research! Doing its own research with the USDA. They're taking samples from wild deer in different regions across the state. Traces of the virus were first found in states like Michigan, Illinois, New York, and Pennsylvania. Experts say Louisiana is likely to follow suit. The presence of COVID-19 does not indicate an active infection, just that the deer were at one point exposed to the virus. Experts say it poses no threat to the deer population as a whole. So remember, deers need to be masked if they can't be socially distanced. And as soon as we can get a little deer vaccine, let's get some deer vaccine. It's top stories and trending. Secretary of State Kyle Ardoin is up next. That took longer than I was supposed to with James. I'll do Mooyah later. Was it? Okay. Well, James would be proud of that. I was. either of y'all in the band with Nick Ashton?
Yeah.
He's a good dude. He's over at LSU now in the video department. 716 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Hour 2 of Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. So we're what, 2 days out from Election Day? It's going to be a scorcher of a day, too. Not really. It's going to be nice and chilly outside. Actually, it's going to be glorious weather, not just for football, but for an election as well. Joining us now to talk about it is Secretary of State Kyle Ardoin. Mr. Secretary, how are you, sir?
I'm well, and yourself, Brian?
Doing very, very well. Getting bracing myself for this cool front, this much-needed cold front coming through town throughout the day today.
Amen, I'm with you.
Oh, totally. I mean, it is that time, is it not? So
Yes, it is.
let's set the table for Saturday. What are we expecting, and what should folks be expecting as they hit the polls?
Well, everyone has something on their ballot, and of course, there's 4 constitutional amendments statewide. There's a judge's race here in Baton Rouge, as I recall, and some propositions in not only East Baton Rouge but in the surrounding parishes. So everybody's got something to get out and vote for. They can do so early in the morning, starting at 7 a.m. Before the game, or by 8 p.m. When we close the polls. It's really important that folks get out and vote. These constitutional amendments are important. They're going to provide some sort of trajectory moving forward for our state, whether it's reform or sustaining what we have. So I urge people to get out and vote. And, it's really nice that we'll be voting just 2 days after Veterans Day. So many brave men and women have sacrificed ultimately or fought for our country and came back, and they deserve the respect from us to vote and show the respect for them keeping our right to vote.
Well, that's a really good point. I mean, that right there is a really good point. Today is Veterans Day, and there is no greater way to honor than by exercising the right that they fight to protect. Yes, absolutely. So Saturday is the actual election day, but our early voting is already done. How was turnout for early voting?
Unfortunately, it was very, very low. Only about 140,000 people voted across the state. East Baton Rouge was, I think, around 6% turnout during early voting, if I recall correctly. And so, it's disheartening, but I'm hoping people are going to use the good weather to turn out and then go to Tiger Stadium and pull for the Tigers.
Absolutely, yes. Get it done before you head out there because polls close probably somewhere towards halftime. I'm guessing it'll be about halftime when polls do close down.
About that time. Yeah, 8 p.m. So, if the game is about, what, is it 6:30?
6:30's kickoff, that is correct.
Yeah, so it'll be about halftime when the polls close.
But that also means
everybody needs to go vote ahead of time. If you have an absentee ballot, it needs to be returned tomorrow, Friday, by 4:30 p.m. to your local registrar of voters office.
Also good to know as well. Now, when it comes to turnout, I don't think it's going to come as a shock to anybody that it's expected to be light because 4 constitutional amendments are very important to our state, especially the first 2. 4 constitutional amendments very important to our state, but you don't have the big, quote-unquote, big-ticket races like a run for president or anything this time around. However, down the road in New Orleans, are y'all expecting more turnout because there is a mayor's race?
We are. So there's all the municipal races in Orleans Parish are up, and so we expect around about 35% turnout in Orleans Parish. So that gives them sort of a leg up. If folks around the state don't turn out, then New Orleans is going to have a greater impact upon the constitutional amendments than perhaps most folks would want. So it's important, if you want to determine where your state is headed, what policies are enacted, these 4 constitutional amendments are important. Any election is important. Local propositions are important. Obviously, it determines local tax renewals or disbursements of monies previously approved, like in Lafayette Parish, things like that. So it's important, but it's really important because proportionally everybody would want to have their voice heard rather than one portion of the state have a greater impact on the constitutional amendments than they do. Secretary
of State Kyle Ardoin's our guest. We're talking about this Saturday's election day. I know we want as many people turning out as possible, but between you and me, I like a low turnout. It means my vote means more. It's just I know that's not the overall. I like the thought that yes, it counts that much more, and it should count for everybody who goes out this Saturday. It's going to count for that much more this Saturday. And Secretary, you make a great point. If you don't want New Orleans having their thumb on the scale statewide, it's up to the rest of us in every other city, every other metro area throughout the state to balance that equation.
That's exactly right. And so, look, it's going to be the quickest amount of time to vote that you've ever experienced because there's a few things on the ballot all across the state. So, I mean, you're really probably talking about 2-minute check-in and a minute or two to vote, and then you're out of there and on your way to Tiger Stadium or to local children's soccer games or baseball games, whatever it may be. I think folks really ought to take advantage and vote early. I mean, it's really easy. Just drive on up, look at the Go Vote app, or go to our website and utilize it to find your polling location in case it changed due to the impact of Ida. I'm sure there's listeners in your area that on your show that have been impacted by Ida, and there's some polling location changes, but it's really easy to find, and the app is easy to download. You got your sample ballot on there. Driving directions to your polling location, everything's there, everything you need, and it'll be a quick and painless experience, I promise.
It's funny you bring that up because I was looking at my ballot on the Go Vote app right now, and I'm seeing that, yes, there's a city court judge or a city judge on there, the 4 constitutional amendments, and the Cats millage is on my ballot as well. Nice and easy. I could check off yes or no and know exactly how I'm voting when I step in the booth before I even step in the booth, saving time overall, making it an even quicker process. So if you don't have the Go Vote app, go get the Go Vote app. Secretary, I got to shift gears here a little bit and ask about hurricane recovery. I know we don't have to deal with a whole lot of it in Baton Rouge, but statewide has presented some challenges for you since Hurricane Ida. That's why we had to push the elections back in the first place. How are we looking at polling locations closer to the coast?
Well, we have been securing all the necessary supplies this week and delivering them, getting them delivered to those local areas and setting up the emergency precincts. We had a real big challenge. I mean, this was probably the hardest election we've ever put on, even in the wake last year of the presidential after Laura, Delta, and Zeta. This one was extremely challenging because of all the supply chain issues due to COVID-19 and the mask mandates and vax mandates coming out of Washington. So it's significant impact, but we've got it. We secured the last bit of stuff that we needed yesterday, cutting it really close. But by the grace of God, we're all set and ready for this election, and I couldn't be more proud of my staff and the local clerks and registrars that assisted. It was a strong team effort, and I couldn't be more thankful for everybody pulling together and getting it done.
What about outreach when it comes to letting folks know where they're moved to if they had to move, any kind of locations that, emergency locations?
We put out very large, I don't know if you remember those large campaign signs, but we got even larger metal signs that we put together, put them all throughout the affected areas with a 1-800 number to call to seek information about polling location changes. We have signs, very large signs at all old polling locations and where folks should go or call for assistance. We also mailed every voter a letter letting them know where their polling location was changed, and then we also took out radio ads all throughout the affected areas for people to call and seek assistance to make sure they would have the opportunity to vote, whether it was absentee or in person.
I mean, that's about all you could do to get the word out ahead of time. In the meanwhile, it all comes down Saturday, and we've been talking about the 4 constitutional amendments regularly on this show as they had to make their way through the legislative process before getting to the ballot in the first place. This is a matter of making sure that the work that got done during the legislative session does not fall to the wayside, does not prove to be, a waste of time. But it comes down Saturday.
Exactly. And, Brian, if I may, I'd like to try to inspire folks one more time.
Go for it.
We have the Honor Vets Vote program, and it allows voters to dedicate their vote to a veteran. All you have to do is visit our website, sos.la.gov, and click on the Honor Vets logo. You then enter the information of a loved one or a friend or a neighbor who has served or is currently serving in the military, and from there you can print out a certificate with your veteran's name on it and post it on social media, encouraging others to do the same and to dedicate their vote, and then you'll receive a certificate honoring your veteran. And it can also ask to be mailed to Honor Vets bumper sticker or lapel pin. We're really excited about that program and continuation of that program, and there's no better time than today to push that and ask folks to really dig deep and think about the importance of these folks and what they did for us and are doing for us.
Absolutely. Very well stated. He is Secretary of State Kyle Ardoin. Thank you so much for the time. Thank you for your efforts and your whole team's efforts in getting the Bayou region back up and running for this election. And good luck on Saturday.
Thank you, my friend. Good to have you. God bless.
God bless. We'll talk to you soon. Secretary of State Kyle Ardoin. Yes, Election Day is Saturday. Yes, voter turnout is going to be low. I'll pick that up in just a minute. I want to comment on something that was said in the YouTube chat as well. Hey, before I do, though, got to remind you, now is the time for company parties. From now through the end of this year, company parties are going to be happening. Your Christmas parties are going on. Just end-of-year parties are going to be going on. Now's the time where a lot of folks like to give back to their clients as well. All of this is bringing us around to talking about catering and Mooyah burgers, fries, and shakes. If you want to swing by for lunch today, yeah, they're on Segan Lane, just north of Industrialplex. Yes, they're on Bluebonnet at Highland. And you're going to get the freshest ingredients and the best service and the best burger in Baton Rouge. But, if you really want to impress a client, how about sending over a burger bar or a hot dog bar or a salad bar to their office, buy your clients lunch as you're wrapping up the year? Yes, you can go out and give your clients Christmas presents and whatnot. Oh, look, we got cheeses and sausages. No, get them a burger bar. Buy them lunch. Buy their whole office lunch. Catering is available at Mooyah, burgers, fries, and shakes. Mooyah.com/catering, Mooyah.com/catering, or call 663-6632. 663-6632, or better yet, ask him in person when you go there today for lunch. Mooyah, burgers, fries, and shakes. All right. Galen says on YouTube, it's not about your single vote counting more, Brian, but your like-minded peers voting so that your political beliefs become law and or leaders. Elections are a team sport. Galen is 100% right. Absolutely. Which is why I brought up the New Orleans aspect of this election. You have a mayoral election in New Orleans that is going to draw greater turnout in New Orleans. Constitutional Amendments 1 and 2 have been signed off by everyone from the state legislature to the governor to every possible entity out there we've heard of have endorsed Constitutional Amendments number 1 and 2. You know the only person who's spoken vocally, spoken outwardly against Constitutional Amendments 1 and 2? New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell. So if you don't want her thumb on a statewide scale, go out and vote. My comment was more along the lines of, how many times have you walked into... When you voted for president last year, did you really think that your personal vote mattered a whole lot? It's the president of the United States. You're in Louisiana with a limited number of electoral votes. Your vote kicks up to the Electoral College. The Electoral College, we don't matter in Louisiana. We didn't matter for last year's presidential election. But when I show up Saturday and when you show up Saturday, and yes, when the team shows up Saturday, it's going to carry more weight. Here comes CBS News. What? Yeah, he was crying on the witness stand yesterday. Poor kid killed a guy. Or he killed two people. He's a kid. He's a kid. There were protests that were riots on the streets of his hometown. He probably should have stayed in his home. But he has just as much right to be outside as anybody else. He has just as much a right to carry a firearm as anybody else.
True.
And he was trying to, according to his story, he was trying to help in a certain situation. And because of that, someone was trying to take his gun from him, and that's who he killed. Now, the person that was trying to take his gun was also armed. So the more I dig into the whole situation, the more I actually feel bad for the situation. Because
Nobody wins.
Right. Yeah, come on. There's a part that's like play stupid games, win stupid prizes. What's happening? Dude, I worked all friggin' day. Hello. Good morning. How are you? How are you?
Melvin, this is Brian. Melvin, you have it right here.
You've been on before, correct? No. Okay. I thought I'd recognize your name. All good. Yeah, I went from here over to LSU. Because women's basketball, I produced for the Sports Radio Network, and then came right back here, and then it was a lot. So, oh yeah. Yeah. No, it was. Oh, yeah.
1, 2, and got it. All right, let's go.
I'm telling you, man, right?
Let me do it this way. So we're good. That's good. Look.
Byron wants to know what her objection is to it. I couldn't tell you. That's why she has the nickname she does. Yeah. Oh, so yeah. After working, if I don't feel old enough on my birthday, I had to take my daughter to the DMV. She's getting her tip card, which is like the precursor to a learner's permit. Yeah. Which I can't be convinced that it's anything but a way to pay the state another $35. But since it was my birthday, I had to get my driver's license renewed as well. So you want to talk about the difference with the weight loss?
Oh my goodness!
Right?
Wow.
Oh wow!
I know.
Oh.
Are you serious?
Man, look, that's encouraging. There,
That right there is total motivation. That I'm this close to my goal. I'm getting there. It's slow. I can't work out, and it's killing. Like, I can't lift. I can walk and run a little. I run for more than about 5 minutes, and it starts to like.
Man, that's just
So was your weight loss as a result of trying to help your back?
Oh no, I pulled a muscle in my lower back about 3 weeks ago. It's just been a slow process. I've had overall back problems.
I have major back issues myself.
So,
I went from 300 to 249 to
oh wow,
help with my back.
And it's amazing how much, and your heart is getting so much more out of it too. But yeah, I had some back problems as well. This was a separate back problem.
Gotcha.
So, but
that's impressive.
Thank you. See that one?
Look at her.
Yeah. That was the.
That was a good picture, man.
Yeah.
Y'all
So yeah,
still with Zach or no?
Yeah, we're still with Zach. In fact, I believe Carrie has practice with him tonight. Yeah, it's going to be tough moving forward because they're moving into basketball season, so he's going to become less available. She's got powerlifting meets starting up real soon, so I did not think if you would ask. Well, the team didn't exist until this year, but I did not think that my oldest daughter would be on the powerlifting team. Like, that's not how you script your life, you know. But hey, I think it's cool as hell. She's she is.
Hey, look, that might be her. That might be her thing. You know?
I mean,
you never know.
To go from where she was at the beginning of the summer when she got cut from basketball and from cross country, to just be like, okay, I'm done with cross country. I want to continue basketball. Now, what else can I do? That's.
Hey, look, you just let them.
I'm super proud of that.
Let them roll. Wait to see what the next may be.
schematics you want to go over? Or you?
No, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty well versed.
Okay.
I try to. This is one of the segments I know a little bit when Susan comes in. I know a little better. I have a 14-year-old daughter, a 9-year-old daughter, and a 5-year-old son. So I try to stay pretty up on what I need to know as a parent.
Got you.
And this is one of them because this is
good. This would be like a conversation.
Oh, totally.
Okay.
I don't know if she warned you. I stay very loose. I'm not anywhere near the script.
Got you. So, all right.
Yeah.
That
I'll
makes
probably
me feel more comfortable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes, it is time for Crimestoppers, and yes, we do this every week at this time. However, once a month, we bring on the folks from Eye Care, and that's what we're doing today. Eye Care specialist Melvin Sanders Jr. joins us now. Melvin, good morning. Welcome to Talk 107.3. How are you, man?
Good morning. Doing well. How about yourself?
Doing very well. Glad to have you on here today. Glad to be talking about this. It is Tobacco and Smoking Prevention Month, and you can't I don't want to say we're ignoring cigarettes at this point, but vaping is on the scene. Vaping is growing in popularity and danger as well. We're going to get to that in a second. Let's start with Eye Care and who you are, what your role is with Eye Care, and how Eye Care helps and teams up with the Crimestoppers to help.
As forestated, I'm Melvin Sanders Jr. I am an eye care prevention specialist. Eye Care, we've been servicing East Baton Rouge Parish School System and surrounding community and surrounding areas for 40 years now. We deal with prevention in reference to alcohol and drug abuse. Not only that, we also deal with crisis response and deal with helping people with coping skills as well. So we're out there in the community dealing with public, non-public schools, as well as community organizations preaching prevention, prevention, prevention.
I didn't think about it till just now. We had Secretary of State Kyle Ardoin on in our last segment. Y'all are at the Krista McAuliffe Center,
right? Which
is my voting precinct. This whole hour is like the Krista McAuliffe Center. I'll be over there on Saturday for about 5 minutes. So Eye Care, very involved with prevention in the schools, awareness in the schools. And this month we're talking about tobacco.
Vape, right. No Vape November.
No Vape November. I like it. Let's start with the basics, because for years and years and years, it's been an anti-smoking campaign. Now vaping's on the scene and continuing to grow in popularity. Everybody's got the Juul. Let's start with the basics. What is vaping, and why is it more dangerous than cigarettes?
Vaping is when a liquid is heated up and dissolved into propylene glycol or vegetable glycerin. It's dissolved, and it emits an aerosol. Now, I want you to think about this. They promote this as being less harmful. Less harmful is still yet harmful. So when this aerosol is emitted, it's sometimes thought to be just a vapor or whatever, but it can cause great damage to your lungs. It could cause damage also, depending on your age, to your brain, dealing with memory loss, attention deficits, things of that nature. When you're dealing with e-cigs, also called hookahs, vape pens, mods, tanks, you're dealing with a range of approximately 60 to 7 compounds that when heated, these chemical compounds transform into very damaging particles that can affect the body short-term as well as long-term. We're dealing with nickel, lead, tin, even in some of them, aluminums. So this is a very dangerous situation.
It is, and it's promoted as less harmful, but I think that was under the original iteration. They were using it to get people to quit smoking to begin with, but it's taken on a life of its own. And I'm hard-pressed to believe when you talk about that many chemical compounds and you talk about changing the physical nature of those chemical compounds through heating, basically it's like putting a Bunsen burner to your face. So I'm hard pressed to buy into the whole it's less harmful tagline.
And I'm glad that you say that. As I forestated, less harmful is yet harmful.
Right.
And keep in mind, now you have the heated tobacco products.
Yes.
Who is an attempt to outdo the e-cigs. Heated tobacco products say, we warm this heat stick as opposed to the combustion of lighting something. Combustion occurs at 900 degrees Celsius. IQOS and the heated tobacco product companies now say that we go about 300 degrees Celsius because it just simply warms this heat stick.
Yeah.
And now they're saying we're less harmful than the e-cig, but once again, less harmful is still yet harmful.
This is caught, if you'll pardon the pun, like wildfire among students, among the younger population. Why is it so popular among students?
It's popular because you have trends. Of course, your younger people, they want to follow the trends. You have these sleek designs. You would be amazed. There are hoodies that have a vape pen at the end of this drawstring. You have pens and things of that nature. Also, you have the companies who promote these different flavors. You have cream, you have mint, you have banana flavors, all targeted towards that young youth and young adult audience. So that's why you see these trends that are trending towards an uptick in the usage in our youth.
Absolutely. And the whole... there's got to be something to the mental concept of trying to get away with something.
Right.
Youth are always going to rebel and trying to get away with it. You can't smoke in class
Right.
and get away with it, but I can imagine more than a few kids are like, watch this.
Exactly. And it's like I said, the sleek designs, the ways to try to get away with it, and things of that nature, the ways that you can get away with it, and also keep in mind whatever is in that pen, you can inhale different substances. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, so that opens up a whole other world, and I'm not going to let you leave it at that because it opens up a whole other world too. What kind of different substances are we talking about here? You're not just talking about weed.
No, we're not talking about weed. You literally can purchase the empty vials and fill them with whatever and sell them.
Mm-hmm.
You may have incidents where people have inhaled things, harmful things that have been deadly. It's not just marijuana, it's other things. They have even tried inhaling alcohol through the vaping process. So yes, all of these different, the ingenuity that has gone into being slick or sleek,
Mm-hmm.
it is amazing.
Is there some level of advantage to the awareness campaign was already out there for cigarettes? When cigarettes were first, I mean, it was for so many years there wasn't even an age restriction on cigarettes. Tobacco and big tobacco had a years-long head start when it comes to marketing to children. With Juul, with other vape products, it seems like the learning curve has been shorter, and we're able to get out in front quicker in order to combat the messaging.
Right. We were able to get out in front a little quicker because even though there was the level of the unknown,
Mm-hmm.
so much tragedy started occurring so quickly as a result of the use of the e-cigs. You can recall, and it's in many articles, February of 2018, there was a huge lung outbreak across America. And and even in articles that are written in 2021, they still reference February of 2018 because of just the huge, I think it was like 60 to 80 people across the country who had experienced documented lung injury.
Yeah.
And as a result, you had your doctors, the CDC, and other people really getting down on it to find out what we need to know to educate people on this matter.
And we're going to continue to learn about that because it is still very new. But there are numbers, there are statistics
Yes.
right now. What are we looking at locally from a stat
Locally,
standpoint?
we still have 3 confirmed deaths.
Mm-hmm.
We still have about 5 lung injuries in our state. We're dealing with half the people, half of a large majority of people still saying that they have dealt with nicotine. Here's the thing: on the national level, the National Tobacco Youth Survey recently from 2021, the methodology had to be a little different because of COVID. 2 million surveyed, 85% stated that they have dealt with e-cigs. 53.7% said that they preferred flavored, and 1 in 4 youth have experience dealing with e-cigs. And that's 2021, the National Tobacco Youth Survey.
The dangerous part here is when you bring up the flavoring. I like physically grimace because hookahs have been around for thousands of years.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So that's been a thing. It's more dangerous now. Number one, because it's portable. But number two, when you mention flavoring, now you're starting to talk about chemicals that have no business being in your body. If you buy something that's strawberry flavored, there's not going to be actual strawberries in there.
Right.
This is not like you're not getting Welch's grape. You're getting something that was created in a laboratory.
Exactly. And let me add to that. Some of the chemicals that are being inhaled are perfect for digestion as far as eating.
Okay.
However, once inhaled, it's harmful to the body. So when you deal with flavorings, you're adding chemicals. I might even add, when some of these vapes have been researched in a lab, there have been shards of glass even found in some of them.
Yeah, and there was questions about what went in cigarettes to begin with, and when it was in cigarettes, it was inhaled, but it wasn't in like a liquid or vapor
Right.
form where you would think it would have these longer lasting effects. How long is it going to be before we know what kind of long term effects there are?
It's still in process.
Yeah.
I wish I had a concrete answer for you, but it's still a work in progress. As I forestated, the brain continues to develop until age 25.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine an 8-year-old who's vaping possibly right now. It primes the brain for addiction as well. And this is also a gateway to other drugs.
Yeah, because of the delivery model.
Exactly.
Because of the physical addiction or the habitual, repetitive
Exactly.
use. Absolutely is. Hey, we got about a minute and a half left. What's iCare doing to fight it?
We're in schools. We're on the ground, boots on the ground. We have individual sessions. We deal with large group presentations. We partner with other community organizations. We get in the classroom. We educate. We want to also educate our parents as well to know the facts. And knowing the facts, be able to talk to your child, remind and repeat, and also to try to be a great example for your children and being tobacco-free or vape-free.
I see a lot of commercials or PSAs for the Truth Initiative. I assume there's a lot of partnership there as well.
Right. You know about the smoke kills and things of that nature. And also, I want to add this. I haven't said anything. In our area of prevention, even dealing with violence, I want to mention Crimestoppers. If you see something, please say something. We are in a city in which, unfortunately, we're dealing with a lot of violence. So please call Crimestoppers. It's anonymous. Please help us reduce, and even I know we don't live in a utopian world. Let's do our best to eradicate this violence.
He is Melvin Sanders Jr., an eye care specialist. We check in with eye care every so often as part of our Crime Stoppers segment. You get Crime Stoppers every Thursday at this time right on Talk 107.3 FM. Melvin, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you very much, and happy Veterans Day to all of the veterans, the men and women who've served.
Well said. We got Your Money Now coming your way right now. Going to check traffic outside. After that, we're getting outside of East Baton Rouge Parish with the Outside In.
Thank you very much for the experience.
No, shit. My pleasure, man. My pleasure. It's
Thank you.
that is one where it's yeah.
Thank y'all for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Always. Yeah, y'all are like, I live in Sherwood, so I'm like right around the corner. In fact, I run through y'all's parking lot quite often. Well, y'all are gone by the time I.
Well, I live literally 5 minutes from Christopher College.
Gracias. Oh! The retreat that I'm going on. I just got a bunch of pictures sent to me of the main retreat center and the chapel and all that other good stuff. BRPT? Well, good. They sponsored this segment. Works out. .755 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Thanks again to the folks from iCare. Thanks again to Don Coppola from Crimestoppers and Melvin Sanders Jr., an eye care specialist, for talking about vaping in our last segment. Everything is going to be available on demand at talk1073.com after the show. I can tell you, if you're not watching us on YouTube, we've got some bonus YouTube content coming your way. As soon as the show is over with on air, 9 a.m. Central, Jake Shimabukuro is going to be on with me. He's a musician. He is actually a ukulele player, among other things. Here's the thing, though. He's got a new album out where he's teamed up with everybody. Jimmy Buffett, Ziggy Marley, Bette Midler, Willie Nelson, Amy Grant, Michael McDonald, Kenny Loggins, and like a ton more. This piqued my interest. It's like, well, if all these people are teaming up with him, then who is this guy and why do I not know about him and what do I need to know? So, got him coming on. Jake and Friends is the new album. That'll be coming your way at Heads Up 9 o'clock. Right now, well, no, 60 seconds from right now, we're going to get into the outside in. Every day, the folks at Baton Rouge Physical Therapy bring you the outside in. 6 locations throughout the greater Baton Rouge area. You'll find them in Ascension, you'll find them in Livingston, and you'll find them right here in EBR. If you've got some nagging pain that you've been dealing with, you might want to check out brptlake.com, brptlake.com. You can call them at 917-9185 to get your free screening, 917-9185. Physical therapy is not just for recovering from a major injury. These are the things that you have to deal with every single day, those nagging pains that keep us from being our best physically. brptlake.com, 917-9185, and they bring you the outside in every single day. We are going to start with a social media warning for parents coming out of St. Tammany Parish. An 18-year-old who reportedly found his victims through social media outlets like Snapchat was charged for the third time for raping a juvenile. St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Office says Raheem Ross was arrested November 3rd for allegedly raping a 13-year-old girl. Now, back in February, he was arrested for first-degree rape of a victim under 13. Deputies said they learned of 2 other victims, aged 12 and 13. In March, he was rebooked on 1 count of first-degree rape of a victim under 13 as well. St. Tammany officials believe there are more victims out there. Grabbing this next one from the Donaldsonville Chief. Apparently 43% of people living in Ascension Parish are now fully vaccinated. This is as of November 9th, according to the CDC. Louisiana, of course, has close or just over 750,000 total cases of coronavirus. The 5 parishes with the highest percentage of population fully vaccinated in Louisiana: West Feliciana's number 1, Orleans number 2, Jefferson number 3, East Feliciana number 4, and Point Capee number 5. The highest is at 57%. Of those top 5, Point Capee is at 49%. Ascension is at 43%. Closing out with a little growth over in Tangipahoa Parish and a business there. Governor John Bell Edwards and S&W Wholesale Foods president owner Paul Spalita announced the company's investing $12 million to develop a new multi-temperature wholesale food distribution center near Hammond, Louisiana. This is going to create 30 new direct jobs and a number of new indirect jobs as well. That's the Outside In, presented by brptlake.com. Here comes CBS. Oh, you know what? I'm going to revisit a story from the Outside In from Webster Parish.
Hey, Nick, tell me this ain't cool. I'm going to leave it with you if you need it. Check this out, dude. What? You know about Centenary bringing back football?
Yeah!
Tie that in with this, dude. Check that out. Wait. 77 times they punted. Both teams kept punting it back and forth. 3 inches of rain during the game. So they would punt, they'd punt it back. They would punt, they'd punt it back. Total of 30 yards of offense. It's true. True story. How you like that, dude?
That is fantastic.
How you like that?
That is fantastic. So a buddy of mine played baseball there. Another buddy of mine played basketball there.
Mm-hmm. That's a record. That's how they did. It's like once Centenary punted, Tech said, "Oh yeah," it was like a game. They just 30 yards of offense the entire game. That's incredible.
I mean, that's just
77 points, dude.
Three and out.
Look. They punted 39. They punted 38 times. That's great.
Who won?
There's no points. 0 points scored.
Oh, 0. Oh, geez. Okay. All right. Thank you, Rich. Going all the way back to Byron's question about what is Mayor Cant's objection to it. So, yes, this would mean a local sheriff's office would have to give up tax collection power, which means putting that power in somebody else's hands, which means a lot more transparency as to how many dollars actually come through. And if that's problematic, one has to ask, why is that problematic? Galen says a friend's 17-year-old son nearly died from vaping, was in the hospital for 6 weeks, and has ruined his lungs for the rest of his life. I know. I don't know about that particular case, but I've seen cases like that before. A friend of mine who's an ER nurse in St. Tammany Parish, they had someone in there, this was about 6 months ago, and they were having lung problems, and everyone thought it had something to do with COVID. And they ran x-rays, and they're like, you don't have any symptoms, blah, blah, blah. They did the rapid test, it tested negative, and then finally, after about half an hour, they finally figured out, or the kid finally admitted, I was vaping, blah, blah, blah. I had the Juul. And then they were able to shift gears and get to work on what the actual problem was. It's that much more dangerous, to be sure. Okay. .806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Hour 3 and 1 with Brian Haldane coming your way right now. We're going to talk with Dr. Josh Eachus in our next segment. He is WBRZ's chief meteorologist. He will have the latest on this storm that's expected to roll through this morning. Pulling up the radar as we speak to get a better look at it and what we can expect from it. It's just about here, y'all. It is just about here. How bad is it going to be? It's actually looking like it's not as bad as we first thought. Further north, it's basically one squall line that crosses the whole country. But further north is going to be worse than it is right here. But what are we going to get from this storm? We'll talk with Dr. Josh Eachus in our next segment. Also, coming up this hour, legendary comedian George Wallace. If you have been a fan of stand-up comedy ever, you know who George Wallace is. Mr. Vegas is who George Wallace is, and he's got a new book out. He's going to join us at 8:40 to talk about the new book, to talk about the world of stand-up right now, how it has grown, evolved, changed over the years. That's coming up at 8:40. Hey, one story we didn't get to in the outside in because, well, Webster Parish is a little more outside than in. Well, it's just east of Shreveport, right? But there was a story about a 15-year-old who was arrested for repeatedly stabbing a fellow student with a paring knife. Anyway, the only reason I bring it up now is because the news story quoted Menden's police. The story comes out of Menden, Louisiana. Menden is in Webster Parish. It cannot be found on a map. No, I'm just kidding. It's there, but it's a tiny, tiny little dot. But Menden's police chief is named Stephen Cropper, which that caught me by surprise because Steve Cropper is a legendary guitarist and member of the Blues Brothers and has been on this show. Different Steve Cropper. This is Chief Steve Cropper, not the Colonel Steve Cropper. All right. Hey, it's time for This Day in History. Let's go.
Good morning, everybody. We're starting things off in 1620. Starting things off, Mayflower Pilgrims make their first landing in America at Provincetown Harbor, Massachusetts.
Good for them.
1851, Alvin Clark patents the telescope. Fun fact.
That's
for
pretty
you.
cool.
1868, first American amateur track and field meet in New York City. I feel like every first thing in America happened in New York City.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's been around for a minute. It's one of the
But like
original 13 colonies was New York. You're going to have a lot of firsts happening in, like, Mendon.
Where?
Mendon, Louisiana. I just talked about it 30 seconds ago.
No, I was making a joke. No one's
gotcha.
gonna know that place unless you mentioned it. 1918, World War I armistice signed by the Allies in Germany.
Yes.
Comes into effect, and World War I hostilities end at 11 a.m., the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month.
Yes, and of course, Armistice Day, the precursor to Veterans Day.
Indubitably. 1940, Willys unveiled its general purpose vehicle, the Jeep.
Really?
Yep. Do you know about the Jeep Wave?
The what?
The Jeep Wave.
No.
So I'll be brief about this. There's a fun story about Jeep Wranglers, and every time they pass each other on the road, they do a little wave. It's like, you know, just kind of like on the steering wheel, just kind of casual. So it started around 1945 because they just started making, well, like you said, in 1940, they just unveiled the Jeep to be used for civilians, not just military purposes. The thing is back in the day, people were so, like, it was kind of like the Kia Soul or the Bug or just like some car you're just like, oh, he's driving one of those, or like the Prius or whatever. You know, no offense or no hate to anyone driving those, but it was like one of those that were looked
Sounds
down.
like a lot of hate driving to those driving those.
Is there hatred in my voice right
I mean,
now?
you're really saying if you don't drive a Jeep, you suck, is what you're saying.
That is not what I'm saying.
That's exactly
I'm
what
saying
you're
back
saying.
in 1940,
I think you're actively
everybody
hating
shunned
on
people for driving Jeeps, and because of that, they all waved at each other saying, hey, I'm with you there. That's where it
Awesome.
started. Now it's, well, not that. That's a little fun story for you. 1987, football striker Mark Hughes plays for Wales and Bayern Munich in two countries on the same day. No, you're going to like this. This is impressive.
I assure you.
He appears for Wales in the 2-0 European Championship loss to Czechoslovakia and Prague, then jets to Munich for a 3-2 cup win over Borussia in the same day. That is insane. On average, the player per 90 minutes runs about 9 miles. To do that twice in one day in two different countries, that's insane. 2013, The Hunger Games Catching Fire, directed by Francis Lawrence.
Wasn't it different Hunger Games yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah. It was Mockingjay Part 1. Came out in a year or two later. But yeah, that came out 2013.
Okay.
That's all the events I got. Let's get right down to the birthdays. First up, we got a pretty big one to start things off. Leo.
Oh.
Leonardo DiCaprio, 46 years old.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. So,
what?
Yeah, I got him on here as well. Yeah. All right, sorry.
It's okay. Stanley Tucci, 60 years
No
old.
kidding. He's got a new Netflix series that my wife and I are watching, basically where he's going all through Italy. He is fantastic. You want to talk about underrated actors?
Oh, absolutely. I can't pretend that I've seen all of his movies.
Well, no, he's got like 1 billion of them.
But every time I see him, I'm happy. Stanley Tucci is always a win.
He has been in 2 movies that were filmed in Louisiana.
Is that so?
That is so. Can you name them?
No, I definitely can't.
Okay, one's the Pelican Brief.
Very
and the
nice.
other one was a piece of crap starring one of the Quaids. Not the crazy Quaid, the other Quaid.
See, I don't even know Quaid.
That's a crying shame. Seriously, where is it? Somebody help me out with this on YouTube, please. What was the Stanley Tucci movie where he was in New Orleans? Undercover Blues. Boom, nailed it.
Nice.
And yeah, he's the one that was the shooter in the Riverwalk scene in the Pelican Brief.
Oh, cool. We're going to keep things moving. We're already running long, but, you know, what else is new? Victor Cruz turns 35. Mark Sanchez, the butt fumble boy himself, also 35.
Yep.
And last one you won't care about, but Philipp Lahm.
Yep, you were right.
37. One of the greatest German defenders of all time. And I say German because there are that many good defenders.
No,
from Germany.
it's good to talk about Germany's defense on Veterans Day. That's really well timed.
You made the joke.
They decided, Armistice Day was who was the armistice with. Boom.
That's all the
Germany.
birthdays I got. You got
They decided when they wanted to go to war that their opponent would be the world. And then they did it again. Fuzzy Zeller's birthday is today. If you don't know who Fuzzy Zeller is, Google Fuzzy Zeller Tiger Woods. Sit back and laugh.
Noted.
It did not work out well for Fuzzy. Also, Demi Moore. And you mentioned Mr. Bud Fumble. But how about Davin Gottschall as well? Bring it back home to LSU. There it is.
Happy birthday to all those mentioned. I have no deaths to report, but we have one holiday that I will talk about.
You're darn right. We're not moving on beyond one.
It's Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to all those out there. Thank you for your years of service. God bless you all. That is this day in history.
814 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Are we going to hit with this storm, or are we just going to get the benefits of it with the cold weather on the back end? WBRZ's chief meteorologist, Dr. Josh Eachus, joins us next. So, interestingly enough, you said Catching Fire was released today, right?
Yeah.
Was that the hung? Okay, what? Starring Stanley Tucci.
Yes, he was.
There you go.
He was very. I forgot. Like he's one of those actors that you see him perform, and you forget he's in it until you see the credits.
Right.
Like you forget that's the actor. Like he embodies his characters really well.
I think it was Undercover Blues.
The ones I know him most from is from that movie, which he absolutely kills it as Cinna. I think that's the character he plays, Cinna. And then also he's Dr. Erskine from Captain America: The First Avenger.
I have not seen the Captain America movies.
He plays this role very well, and I remember him. So, the child version of me remembered him. If that's a testament to how good he performed.
Dennis Quaid. God, it was such a bad movie. Kathleen Turner, Dennis Quaid. The worst attempt at New Orleans accents you will ever experience in your life. Oh, thank you, Byron. I appreciate that. Tower crew is waiting until after the rain to install repaired antenna. Okay. .817 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Hour 3 of Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. So, what are we looking at from this storm today? Are we going to get hit with a lot of nasty weather or just the benefits on the back end when it comes to the cooler weather? Joining us now to talk about it is WBRZ's chief meteorologist, Dr. Josh Eachus. Josh, what's happening, man?
Hey, not much, Brian. Doing well today. Appreciate you having me on.
Always, especially when it means that we get the benefits of some cooler weather on the back end. But how much are we going to have to withstand before that?
It's not a big deal for our area. Not a severe weather threat today. I think the worst part about this system rolling through today is that I know there's some midday, mid-morning, lunchtime Veterans Day activities, some of which may be outside. So might be umbrellas up for a few of those folks, but we can hold up against a few showers. Certainly better than a severe weather threat. And I don't even really look for any torrential rain out of this system as it moves through the Baton Rouge area in the next couple of hours here.
So it's looking like it's. I'm not seeing it downtown yet, but very, very soon. Looking at the radar, I'm looking at the line. It's like we're almost underneath it, just about. It should be coming. This thing, it looks like a huge system. Is this affecting the entire nation as it makes its way across? I mean, from like north to south?
Yeah, and that's common this time of the year. These continental storm systems will stretch kind of from border to border, and sometimes can go from almost coast to coast. But they'll take up a third of the country at a time. And this low pressure system is in the Great Lakes region. The front stretches from northeast to southwest all the way through our area, and that's kind of the way the front's set up through the local area right now. Whereas more northeast of Baton Rouge, Amite County, places like Liberty, and now already into St. Francisville, Zachary, and Baker are getting some of the rain. Hasn't quite yet arrived for some of our coastal parishes closer to Morgan City, St. Mary Parish, and whatnot. So it'll kind of blow through from northwest to southeast in the next few hours here with some showers, and could be a rumble of thunder or two. But, yeah, these are fascinating storm systems for me to cover. I like them more than tropical systems. Certainly are not quite as upsetting to lives. But the way that they affect so much of the country at once makes them really kind of fun to track out.
Well, it does, and it's got this cool little curve about it as well. It's not like it's one straight line marching across the nation. It's got this cool this curve where it's in Memphis and Houston at the same time.
Yes, and that's a pretty common orientation for these frontal systems. Those that are kind of set up in that orientation of northeast to southwest tend to be a little bit less potent than one that's more due north to south. That means that we kind of have the cooler air lofts moving in a bit more gradually. It's a sign of a weakening storm system overall, which is good news for us because it was fairly strong last night in Oklahoma and Texas. We had some severe weather, some storm warnings from Dallas all the way up to Tulsa.
Well, this is going to set the table for football weather as the weekend approaches. I believe it's the opening weekend of high school playoffs. And then, of course, LSU and Arkansas on Saturday. So what can we expect once the rain moves through? Will there be a lot is it going to saturate the ground for high school football tomorrow night, or should most of this have been dried back up and evaporated by then?
I do think so. It has been so dry lately, which is another fascinating weather story we'll follow. We can get to that in a moment. Okay. But we have the first front coming through now, so the next couple of hours we get some showers. I actually believe it's out of here in time for the drive home from work and school today. So while we may have disrupted a few Veterans Day activities, the morning and evening commutes largely unaffected by these showers. So that'll be a nice bonus. This first front actually does not have a lot of cool air accompanying it, so we're going to then recover maybe back to the lower 70s tomorrow afternoon. Mm-hmm. Then a second front will come by, all the moisture used by this one, so it's going to pass dry, a sprinkle or some passing clouds, all we look for there, and it's likely on Friday evening. And then we really get our pop of cool air into Saturday morning, maybe the coolest we've felt so far, whereas if you're heading out to either LSU or Southern's campus on Friday morning, you'll want several layers, as we'll be in the 40s. Some afternoon sun gets us fairly back to the lower 60s, might have you shedding that heaviest jacket, but if you're heading into the games, you're certainly going to take them with you because we will fall through the 50s and 40s during the games. And Sunday morning, I have us in the upper 30s. So if you're staying until the end of Southern or LSU's game, which will end around 9 or 10, we'll be looking at temperatures at that time probably between about, let's say, 43 and 47 degrees. So you definitely want to take layers into either stadium.
Oh, goodness gracious. I'm thinking about you. Okay, so when the sun comes up Saturday morning, what are we looking at?
Sun, should see sun, and we'll have temperatures in the middle 40s.
Middle 40s Saturday morning.
45 to 50. So we kind of we end where we start in terms of football activities on Saturday.
Well, and the reason I'm asking about that is because a lot of folks are going to be out at Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo for the Zoo Run at 8 o'clock Saturday morning, and it's always fun to put in 2 miles while you're wearing long sleeves.
Hey, pull no punches about it, though. You ask a runner, those are almost ideal temperatures for scoring your best time.
Yeah, but if you're not a runner and you're just DJing and emceeing, you're freezing you know what's off because you're going to set up before dawn. Not being selfish about it. Hey, you mentioned about the dry weather, and you said you'd circle back to that, and it was a different interesting story. What is the different interesting story?
Well, I think you and I have spoken a couple times this year, even when we were catching up on hurricanes or something like that, about how wet it's been. We had our May event, and then on a year of summer thunderstorms, we seemingly had them every day. Not many stretches where it was just hot with no rain around, which a lot of us can be happy about that. But we had run ourselves up to, even with 2016, for the wettest year on record, and have been in second place ever since August. And there was about a foot of rain separation between 1 and 2, 2016 and this year, and then the third, fourth, and fifth wettest years. Well, it's been so dry since Hurricane Ida that we now have third, fourth, and fifth place only trailing this year by an inch or two. So I was almost certain that we would lock down the number 1 or 2 spot for wettest year on record. And with the trends we're following now, this could be a year that might only hold on to the top 5, and barely that, because we have been so dry in the last couple of weeks. And there are no signs of the pattern flipping anytime soon to becoming really rainy again.
Well, okay, that actually gets to my next question, was about, is it too soon to look ahead to Thanksgiving?
It is a little too soon. We can be vague in terms of, wetter, drier than average, warmer, cooler than average. I'm not seeing any trends to suggest we're going to turn much wetter than the pattern we have right now. Every now and then a front come by with a shower threat once or twice a week. But it does look like cooler than average is a fairly decent bet. In fact, talking with some climate experts that kind of do these 2-3 month projections, the first half of the winter this year across the states is likely to be the colder part. We might get a little warmer beyond Christmas. And there's a pretty good bet that most of the country is colder than average for late November and early December. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. And, of course, when we say cold, we don't talk about northeastern cold or something like that, freezing temperatures. But, our average is that time of year, upper 60s and upper 40s, so maybe a little bit below that as we approach the Thanksgiving holiday, at least for a few days around that time.
Okay, 2 things to unpack from that. First of all, I know we're only over the phone, but why did it feel like you air quoted the word expert?
I mean, the colleagues, because, they're at the Climate Prediction Center. It's not like I'm on the phone with these people, but, we read their monthly reviews and whatnot, and even a couple of private sector forecasters I keep an eye on as well.
And the other part of that was cold is a relative term. I living in South Louisiana, you hate the guy who walks around work saying, I'm originally from Chicago. I don't care. Yeah. Your cold is not my cold, and your hot is not my hot. You're here now. Adapt.
I've had to adjust that since moving here, whereas, I actually have viewers that email me sometimes, and there are those people from around the country like me, and I've climatized, and I call cold what everyone here calls cold now, and they're like, why did you put cool on your 7-day forecast when it was going to be 65? I'm like, well, because I consider anything below 70 cool now.
Yes. Yes, when women start wearing boots and the first fireplaces fire up, that's when you can start using that term. It's relative.
That's right. It is relative. It's what our bodies are used to.
Absolutely. All right. So midday today, or for the next couple hours, look for some rain. Not going to be as bad as was originally thought when we saw what was rolling through yesterday. And then cooler weather, dare I say cold weather after that. He is WBRZ's chief meteorologist, Dr. Josh Eachus. Thank you so much for hopping on board, man. I appreciate it.
Sure thing, Brian. We'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. That's actually really a relief. Because when you look at the radar and you see the huge squall line, and it covers the whole nation. I mean, it goes from north to south. It covers all of it, and it's been moving from west to east. When you just look at it, it's intimidating. It is very intimidating looking. How far is it? It's like this same system is in the Great Lakes and Houston right now. So making its way across, and we'll experience it over the next couple hours. Like you said, the Veterans Day observances will take a little bit of a hit. We got a lot more ground to cover today. We're not done by any stretch. Legendary comedian Mr. Vegas himself, George Wallace. No, not the late Alabama governor George Wallace, comedian George Wallace. He's going to join me at 8:40 this morning. He's got a new book out. He's got a lot going on, actually. If you're not familiar with George Wallace, go Google him. I mean, this guy has been all over the place. He's been a comedian for, I want to say, my entire lifetime. I can remember watching him as a kid. He's got so much going on right now with the new book that's out, and a new tour that's out, and coming out of quarantine. I cannot wait to pick his brain about getting some quarantine material from him. Look, that's one of the many businesses that just had to be put on the shelf. Entertainment, whether it be music. I mean, we've had numerous musicians on the show to talk about how they switched to a Zoom format or a virtual format. With comedy, that's even harder. So let's talk about managing your way through COVID. Let's talk about the new book, and let's talk about whatever else we can get out of George Wallace. Hopefully some spoilers with new, as yet unheard material. Got to tell you about the folks over at the Baton Rouge Mattress Outlet. They've got 2 locations, 4065 Florida Boulevard and the corner of Jefferson and Hoosier 2. As the colder weather runs through, yes, I can't believe I'm going to do this again. Yes, it is snuggle weather. But if you're going to snuggle, you got to have a great mattress. Mitch Kimball and his team over at the Baton Rouge Mattress Outlet are here for your snuggle weather. Swing on by. They've got not just the mattresses, but the pillows, the pillowcases, the sheets, the comforters, all of that available right now at both locations. The Mid-City location, 4065 Florida Boulevard, is the bigger of the 2 footprints. Footprint? It's the bigger footprint. 930-5779 is the phone number, 930-5779. If you're not getting the best night's sleep, that might be because of your mattress, and you might need a new mattress. And the only way to get to the end of that road and a better night's sleep is by visiting Mitch, or I shouldn't say the only way. The best way is by visiting Mitch Kimball and the Baton Rouge Mattress Outlet. We got news coming your way in just a minute. Not enough time for me to dive into another full topic. I will mention this out of Shreveport, though. I think we had it news at the bottom of the hour last hour, and will again in news coming up. Centenary College is bringing football back, y'all. Not since 1941 have they played football at Centenary College. It's coming back in 2024. Now, I can thank Condon for this, because on this day in 1939, Centenary hosted Texas Tech, and the 2 teams played to a 0-0 tie, but that's not the history. They set an NCAA record 82 years ago today. They set an NCAA record by punting a combined 77 times during the game. Who does that? Texas Tech punted 39, Centenary 38, 0-0 tie, your final score. That level of excitement is coming back in 2024. Here's CBS News. Oh, tired. Hey! Got a heads up from the folks over at LSU. Mention your Alvin Clark story from this day in history. On this day, November 11th, 1851, Alvin Clark received a patent for the telescope. LSU actually has an Alvin Clark and Sons telescope on top of Nicholson Hall, placed on the roof in 1939-ish. Oh, this is so cool. I think I might go donate blood tomorrow. Yeah, it's been a minute, and I don't think Vitalent's doing their Boogie on the Bayou thing this year. I'm hoping I'm allowed to donate. The last time I went to donate, my blood pressure was high. About 6 months ago. I used to be a regular donor. I got out of the habit. Honestly, and Vitalent's probably better about it than the rest of them, but you donate once and they pester you for your next donation. Like the moment you're eligible again. Who's the one? LifeShare, I think. They'll call like a week before you're eligible. Just want to remind you you're eligible starting next week. Can we put you on the books? Whoa. Settle down. Aggressive. Where's the info in the damn book? Bulltwit and whatnot. There it is. Yeah, there's a picture of it. Google Bulltwit, and you'll see the picture of the cover. Bulltwit. It's like a picture of a blue bird in a purple suit. $840. And just let me know how long I have him till. If it's all the way to 50, just put up a fist. If I have to get out early, I'm supposed to get out at 47. But that works. .838 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We got comedian George Wallace coming up in just a little bit. Actually, about 2 minutes from right now. If you're not familiar with his work, then you're not familiar with stand-up comedy. George Wallace has been around forever. So there used to be a show on A&E. It was A&E's evenings at the Improv, and I would watch this nightly growing up. And he was a staple there. He was a staple at Caroline's. He is Mr. Vegas. I'm curious to pick his brain a little bit about. We've talked to so many musicians about how they handled the pandemic. I want to talk to a guy who, he's a comedian. Does that translate without the energy of the live performance? Does that translate over Zoom? Is there an added level of pressure to have a different show every single time? Because you can hear the same song 100 times and still like it, but you hear a joke more than once, and the effectiveness of said joke starts to fade. Think about it. Everybody's got somebody in their friends group who always tells the same 3 jokes over and over again. That's not the funniest of your friends. Never has been, never will be. If comedy's not fresh, it's not getting it done. So how do you keep it fresh through a pandemic? Can't wait to talk to George Wallace about this. And hopefully I'll have him for a good couple minutes to talk about his new book, his new show, all of it coming your way in just a little bit. Hey, we'll have George Wallace in about 20 seconds from right now. I want to remind you, Talk 107.3 and Citizens Bank and Trust are in the spirit to rock your holidays with $15,000 cash, $15K holidays coming your way. I could use an extra $15,000 this holiday season. What about you? Just head to talk1073.com to register to win $15,000 cash, powered by Citizens Bank and Trust and Talk 107.3 FM, the new flavor of talk. All right, joining us right now, he is Mr. Vegas, longtime legendary comedian George Wallace. Mr. Wallace, good morning, sir. How are you?
Man, I like to say good morning. I feel good all over. Man, can you talk fast? I cannot read copy like that, man. You're an expert. That is wonderful.
I was getting it all in as quickly as possible because I know I only have you for a few minutes. So first of all, let me fanboy for a second. I've been a fan of yours forever. You are an absolute comedic legend. I've been a fan of stand-up comedy my whole life. I can remember watching you on like A&E's Evening at the Improv or Caroline's. Oh, man, long time.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We're going to get to the new book in a minute. I got to start with the pandemic, though.
Okay.
How, as a comedian, do you manage your craft during a shutdown?
Brian, I do what you do. You know, you're on radio and you make people happy during the shutdown. It is our job to bring people together. And I'm so blessed to be able to be in the laughter business. And no matter what the situation is, at the end of the day, you need to put laughter in your life because laughter is the greatest medicine in the world. And that's why we encourage people to overdose on laughter, keep it in the reach of children, and when you start laughing for more than 4 hours, then you call your doctor. It's so important. You can't even fake a smile without feeling better. And I tell you what you do, and sometimes you can see a smile through radio. I just did when you picked up the phone.
Oh, man, so well said. And, yeah, imagine that. You get the shutdown.
Wait a minute, Brian. Brian, you know I laugh for a living, though, right?
Do what?
Go ahead.
I was setting up for, at the beginning of the shutdown happens, comedy isn't deemed essential, and we're all at each other's throats on the back end. Imagine that.
Exactly.
Throughout your career, comedy has evolved a great deal. How have you managed to stay ahead of the curve when it comes to the different trends that have hit the stage and hit the mic?
I think being up to date and knowing what's going on in the world and keep writing new jokes. I love to do that. You know, right now I'm writing about the new the things that have happened since COVID. Anything in the news. I saw something funny 2 days ago. I was in a drugstore and I was buying vitamins and I'm looking at one-a-day vitamin, and I read the instruction. It says take 2. I'm going like, that's odd. You know, it's that simple. It's like I saw an item in the grocery store that said evaporated milk, and I'm thinking, well, what the hell is in the can? So my job is to continue to write and stay update and see what's going on in the world and the politics and what's going on with the crazy music. And got a guy that had a baby in the last 6 months. So you just have fun with everything. Just make a joke out of everything.
I'm sorry, you said a guy that had a baby?
Luke Law's ex.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Okay, so there's a new show coming out. It's going to be in Nashville to start off. It's Mike's Fall Soul Celebration. You and Patti LaBelle and Anthony Hamilton. Can you give us a few spoilers of from the new act?
Well, I'm definitely going to be talking about the people in the South. Since this is at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee, I want to be talking about the Southern states. There's something wrong with people in the South. You know, it's just amazing what they do. They're competing on who can do the dumbest stuff. The state of Texas, the state of Tennessee, and the state of Georgia. Like in Georgia, they don't want you to have water. I live in Atlanta. I'm going to be giving out all kinds of water: vitamin water, dirty water, muddy water, smart water, tea, everything. I'm going to holy water. I'm going to jail that day. But Florida's going to hold the title, which always reigns with the stupidest stuff. But so I'm going to be talking about that. And in Tennessee, at the Bridgestone Arena, November 27th, I'm going to be talking about what they do in Nashville, Tennessee. If you've ever been to Nashville, Tennessee, there's too many First Baptist churches on every corner. First, all these churches cannot be the First Baptist Church, okay? There's two there that are brand new. They're new on the block, and they're calling themselves it's a lie. It's all a lie. So I'm going to be talking to those people and how they drive down there in Tennessee. So much fun just talking about it. And they're going to laugh. How they say stupid stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun. November 27th, Patti LaBelle, Anthony Hamilton. Can you imagine being on stage with Patti LaBelle? She might bring one of those sweet potato pies. I want to know what she's putting in the pie. First of all, that's what I want to know. Because she's selling a sweet potato pie at Walmart. America went crazy. The pie costs $3.48, right? Okay. Now, you know, if you go to the grocery store and buy just the pan and the crust, it's $2.48. I want to ask her. She ain't putting but $1 worth of crap in it. I want to know what she's doing. What is it? She's just putting $1 worth of stuff in the pie. So I want to ask her that. So we're going to have some fun no matter what.
Oh, man, I cannot wait. We got about 2 minutes left with George Wallace, comedian George Wallace. Got to talk about the new book, Bulltwit and is it Online Ramblings?
Yes, Bulltwit and Whatnot. Whatnot is the most important word. And Whatnot means you can say anything, but it's from the Twitter world. If you like to tweet, if you need a laugh, you need to buy a book for your Christmas table, you need to get this book, Bulltwit, because it's all fun, and it will keep you smiling all day. And you can get that at georgewallace.net. And some of the things in the book tells you how poor we were growing up. I was so poor my dog can only afford one Ray-B. Little things like that, and things all straight up to you. I'll eat pancakes out of a cup and cupcakes out of a pan, and little stuff like that. But you need to keep laughing in your life. Trust me.
One Ray-B. I got to ask one serious question for you, and that is the state of the world today. Everything's a lot more tense. Everything feels like it's a lot more serious. Everything is breaking news. Does that make your job harder, or does it just cause you to zone in and focus more on the smiles?
Excuse me. I know you didn't say breaking news, because that ticks me off. I heard the news yesterday, first of all, okay? And they keep saying breaking news, breaking news. They've got to stop that stuff with the breaking news, because it's just, when we were kids, we heard breaking news, it was something really happened, right?
Yes.
Now, a house on fire near the George Washington Bridge, breaking news. Well, we don't need to hear, that's why we should, I think sometimes we should just go back to local news. I don't need to know what's going on in Timbuktu. Then you got the weatherman telling you what is almost going to be. I saw Al Roker last week said it was 33 degrees outside, but it felt like 22. But damn it, if it feels like it's 22, it must be 22.
That's a good point. He is comedian George Wallace, and yeah, how long can it be breaking before it's finally broken? I think would be the George Wallace response. If I could steal one of yours, that would be the George Wallace response to that one. Look, I know you got to get to your next conversation. Bulltwit and Whatnot is available right now, and of course the show's coming up in Nashville later on this month. I appreciate the time. It's been an honor, sir.
This is George Wallace. I love you. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Follow me at Mr. George Wallace. Let's tweet the world. Let's do it.
Mr. George Wallace on Twitter is the place to find him. We appreciate the time. He is comedian George Wallace. My dog only had one Ray-B. I've never heard that word not plural. Oh, that was fun. Okay. We got to get back to the serious nature of news talk. There was no way I wasn't doing that, though. So I get alerts every so often when people have books out, and this is like legit. This is no BS. I've followed this guy from my childhood. I know I set up the interview beforehand with that. I saw him a couple weeks ago on comedy.tv. Okay, so Saturday nights, I get home from working LSU football, right? I can either watch the West Coast game, if I don't care about what Hawaii's doing or what's going on in the Pac-12, I can either watch the West Coast game or I can watch Saturday Night Live. I happen to think Saturday Night Live is in a pretty good zone right now. They're funny again. It's been a while, but they're funny again. After Saturday Night Live is a show called Comedy.tv. Now I'm faced with a choice. Do I go to bed so I can wake up for church in the morning? Or do I stay up another hour and watch Comedy.tv? Well, George was on Comedy.tv, it was about a month ago maybe. It's amazing that the observational humor survives. I mean, what was super popular in the 90s and even spilled over into 2000s a little bit, it's been replaced with different styles. But he has adapted his style along the way, which I just absolutely love. That was a lot of fun, and I appreciate his time this morning. Bull, Twit, and Whatnot is the name of the book, and the show itself is called Mike's Fall Soul Celebration in Nashville, Tennessee. I don't know if he realized we have a shared affinity for hating on Florida. In fact, we got to get back around to the Florida story of the day at some point. Not yet, but at some point. All right, we got to take a break. Coming back, we got one more segment to go on air, 2 more online. Let's hear Your Money Now on Talk 107.3 FM. Oh, that was fun.
So for the 9 a.m. interview, am I making a post about that?
I don't know yet. I promised them so I didn't want to commit to this interview, but this is cool. So he is 6 days older than me. Yeah. It won't be till tomorrow at least. Don't sweat it. Cool. That was fun. Oh, Byron says my doctor told me to take one pill twice a day. You can't do that. All right, I want as many like observational one-liners as possible. That was oh god, so much fun. .856 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Thanks again to George Wallace for hopping on board. That was fun. And much needed. It sounds like the rain is just about here. I'm hearing it outside the Doppler window. So be ready for it. That's actually a good thing, though. I mean, if we can get this over with quicker, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month will hopefully be, clear. Not clear, but, not the worst of what we're supposed to get. If you're watching us on YouTube, we've got Jake Shimabukuro coming up as soon as we sign off on the air. Of course, thanks again to Dr. Josh Eachus for hopping on board. Thanks again to the folks from iCare for Crimestoppers, Secretary of State Kyle Ardoin, and Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show, who is counting it down to having a wee bit. Also, want to give a shout out to the folks over at LSU, and Mimi Laval at LSU sent me an email. Jake, you're going to want to pay attention to this. During your This Day in History segment, you mentioned that it was on this day in 1851 that Alvin, spelled Alvan.
Yes.
Yeah, Alvin Clark received the patent for the telescope. Well, LSU has an Alvin Clark and Sons telescope on top of Nicholson Hall.
Really?
And it's been there since apparently around 1939.
Wow.
I know.
That's fascinating.
I know. Shocked, I tell you. Anyway, yeah, you can learn more about it on LSU's website. They've got the history of the Landolt. Wait, yes, I agree. Yes, you're going to have the history of the Landolt Astronomical Observatory. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
We're always, when it comes to LSU, and deservedly so, very much sports driven, and I get that. But the dude driving the rover on Mars is an LSU grad. Also Catholic High, also St. Thomas More. You had, who did we have on earlier this week? We had somebody on earlier this week. And now I'm not remembering it. I'm completely breaking on this. I am ruining this tease. Oh, sorry, I heard rain, I got distracted, and I lost my entire train of thought.
You got any description for this person you're trying to reference?
No. Damn it.
Dang.
Yeah. Way to knock it out of the park. 2 hours, 58 minutes worth of show, and then just
butt fumble at the end.
Yep. On Mark Sanchez's birthday.
Yeah.
Look at that.
There we go.
Look at that. All right. Election Day is coming up Saturday. We're going to talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. Also on tomorrow's show, Haggai Davis will be in for a cup of tech gumbo. I believe we're trying to get Franz back in for a bonus legally served. We did not talk about this Kyle Rittenhouse case, and there have been developments, and there will likely be more developments today as it looks like a mistrial is being petitioned and considered. We'll have that for you tomorrow as well, and a whole lot more in store. On air, we got to say goodbye. Fox News Rundown is coming your way right after news. On YouTube, stick around. We're going to talk with Jake Shimbakuro in just a moment. I don't think that's him. check it and see, just to make sure. I list that as the backup number.
Talk 1073. Oh, perfect.
That's him? Okay.
All right. Well, we'll get you through and get you on.
Can you flip everything over to 2 for me so I can hear him? And then set it up where we're recording? We good? Nope. Still can't hear me. Put the headphones on 2. Is my mic on? And am I in program 2? Okay. No, the phone pot needs to be on and in 2 as well. All right, yeah, now I'm hearing me, and there is Jake. Jake, good morning. Nope, can you put the phone pot on and in 2? My apologies. Jake, good morning.
Oh,
there he is.
Hey, Brian, how's it going? Yeah.
There you are. All right, good deal. We're getting set up. So the live show, and we're recording for a segment for tomorrow. The current live show ends at 9, and we're like straight up on the top of the hour, so I apologize. It's like a mad shuffle to go from live mode to recording mode.
No problem. I just appreciate the opportunity, man. Thank you.
No, absolutely. Glad to have you on. We ready? Okay. How's his level? Were you able to check his level well? Okay.
Oh, check 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
We're good.
9,
we got you.
10.
All right. So this is being recorded for later playback. So when I say the new album's out today, that's
okay.
Yeah,
got it.
In stores Friday. So good. Happy to be joined right now by a legend in his field, though. Teaming up with many other legends, ukulele virtuoso and composer Jake Shimabukuro. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
That was perfect.
Okay, yeah. Shimabukuro. Dude, nailed it. Look, you're in South Louisiana right now. We got some crazy names as well. So welcome aboard. First of all, happy belated birthday. Your birthday was a week ago Thursday, and I took note that you are 6 days older than me. So, like, what am I doing with my life right now?
Well, happy belated birthday to you as well.
Thank you so much. So the new album, Jake and Friends, it comes out today. In stores, available today. Let's talk about it a little bit. You got a team here of names that are just legendary from top to bottom. How did this come to be? How did you assemble this cast of characters?
Oh, man. Well, the album could have easily been called Jake Shimabukuro and Dreams Come True or something, because it is really, my dream list, of musicians that I've always wanted to work with. And some of them I have worked with in the past. But, the way the album came about was 4 years ago. My manager and I were sitting down, and he was telling me, you got to do a duets record or like a collaborations record. And he started throwing some names out, and I was like, oh, man, that would be awesome. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, this is never going to happen, right? But Ray Benson, who was a longtime friend, came on board and said, hey, yeah, I'm happy to help. So he helped me produce the record. First phone call he makes was to Willie Nelson. 2 months later, we're in the studio recording Stardust. It was unbelievable. After that, like a week later, Michael McDonald came in. We recorded a Moody Blues tune called Go Now. And then after that, Bette Midler came in, and then we did The Rose. And it was just one after another. We started it like 4 years ago, and we finished it during the pandemic. And I'm just so grateful.
The ukulele, not your everyday mainstream instrument to be played, and you do it like no other. What attracted you to it in the first place?
Well, my mom played, and so she was the first one to sit me down, teach me some chords, and I just loved it. And I strummed it and played, a lot of more traditional music. But I've always loved rock and roll. I loved electric guitar, but I've never really got I never really had the desire to play the instrument. It was always ukulele for me. And one of my guitar heroes was Sonny Landreth, who's from the area, and he's my favorite slide guitar player, and that's one of the tracks I'm so proud of. It's like with these guitar players like Sonny Landreth, Warren Haynes is another one. We did a song called On the Road to Freedom. And you know, for me, like hearing the ukulele paired with an electric guitar, as a fan of the ukulele, I never thought I would hear ukulele with Sonny Landers or ukulele with Warren Haynes, you know. So, I mean, it's just so exciting. I mean, even John Anderson, you know, his voice from the band Yes. I grew up listening to that Roundabout and all that was so influential. And now to hear his voice, you know, singing over the ukulele. And we did a Beatles song, you know, A Day in the Life. So, I mean, I'm so thrilled about this record, and I still can't believe that we actually finished it. You know, it's really amazing.
So looking at the tracks from the album, Jake and Friends, some of them I'm like I can hear it in my head automatically. For example, "Come Monday" by Jimmy Buffett. Without even hearing the track itself, I know how that's going to sound. But there are some, like "A Day in the Life," where there had to be a level of inventiveness. How did you go to just to imagine your instrument being played within the song? How did y'all go about song selection with these different artists?
Yeah, well, with all the artists, you know, I had them choose the song that they wanted to sing. So John Anderson, this is so funny because John Anderson, he goes, yeah, you know, I've always wanted to record. He said he always wanted to record "A Day in the Life" by the Beatles. So I said, oh man, that's one of my favorite songs. So he goes, yeah, well, let me send you a little video of me playing it so you can kind of get a feel, you know, of how I like to do it. So he sends me a video of him strumming the ukulele and singing, you know, "A Day in the Life," and it's so awesome. You know, it's just. So I called him. I was like, "You're playing the ukulele," and then he's laughing. He's like, "Oh yeah," but yeah, he really loves the ukulele. It's insane. So, but you know, but a lot of the songs, you know, like I said, were all chosen by the artists and songs that either they were playing on tour, like Ziggy Marley. He was singing "All You Need Is Love." He's been playing that on tour, so it was really, you know, great to do because, you know, he already knew that one, was familiar with it. Vince Gill and Amy Grant, we were talking about different songs, and then he said, oh, he made the connection with George Harrison and the ukulele. They said, oh, let's do something. And he said, and I'll ask my wife, you know, Amy Grant, to see if she wants to sing it. So I was like, oh my God, Vince Gill and Amy Grant singing something as a duet. It's one of the most romantic and beautiful tracks, you know, I've ever heard, and it's just amazing. So, yeah, so I don't know. It was just amazing. Kenny Loggins, "Why Not?" That was a song that he had written, you know, years ago, and Bette Midler's "The Rose," Willie Nelson, "Stardust" is very, very iconic. Who else we got on there? We got Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson with Paula Funga. We did a Stevie Wonder tune called "Place in the Sun." So there's a little bit of everything, you know, on this. Billy Strings and I, we wrote a song together called "Smoking Strings," and he's absolutely brilliant. So it was great to just have a nice little jam with him. And yeah, so I don't know. I'm hoping that you know, that people really resonate with this record.
And I think the level of crossover here is going to catch so many audiences by surprise. You're actually, I got to shift gears here because I know I've only got you for another minute or two. But you're on tour right now. The tour is off and running already. So I've got to ask you, every performer I have on, I ask about how you made your way through the pandemic and what it feels like to be back on tour.
Oh man, I'm so grateful, you know, to be able to have the opportunity to play in front of a live audience. You know, during the pandemic, I think like most musicians, you know, we still, you know, wanted to have some form of creative outlet, and so a lot of us were doing virtual things, and you know, and it was great to be able to connect with people and talk with people, but there's nothing like live music, you know, and being in the same room with people, and you know, and playing in a venue that really captures the energy and allows everyone to be in the moment and be present at the same time, having the same experience. You know, there's something so magical about that. And the first couple shows, you know, back out, I remember the first show back out, we were in Clearwater. That was our first show since the lockdown. And after we launched into the first song and we were done, and everybody started screaming and, you know, and yelling and clapping, oh my gosh, it hit me. It made such an impact, and I got choked up, and I actually started to tear. I mean, you know, that's how powerful it was, and so I feel like, you know, I feel it's something we all need, and I'll never take it for granted ever again, you know, because you know, music and the arts is so important.
The tour does not come through Louisiana. All the more reason to head out and get the album today, which is available right now. Jake and friends. He is Jake Shimabukuro. We'll work on that, getting a tour stop in Louisiana next time around. But for now, I greatly appreciate the time, man. Congrats. This is there's so much that went into this, and I know you've got to be pleased with the outcome.
Oh, I am. I'm so thankful. So really appreciate your support.
My pleasure. Great to have you on. Great to meet you.
All right. Take care. Aloha.
Aloha. He is Jake Shimabukuro. All right, YouTube, we got another show recording in about 2.5 minutes, so we're going to get a quick turnaround here. We will see y'all tomorrow.